entered service 1 full year before the current Chief of the Air Staff was born. How is that as an illustration of how old this aircraft has been in service? 1963 is the year in which the MiG-21 entered Indian Air Force service. 1964 is when Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh, the current Indian Air Force Chief, was born. So that's how long this aircraft has been in service, across different variants, across different types. Of course, it has been upgraded in many, many ways and been made into a very capable fighter called the MiG-21 Bison. That is the fighter that we saw in combat during the Balakot airstrikes. They were in the air for sure during Operation Sindoor. So these are fighters that are retiring the same year that they actually flew combat missions. So it is incredible to bid farewell to the MiG-21. It is an aircraft that has had a tense reputation in the public eye, owing to several accidents, even though it is an undeserving reputation, because the facts suggest that it wasn't the aircraft itself, but a lack of planning and a lack of training that resulted in this. This was an aircraft that was not easy to fly, and therefore, the number of accidents that took place on this fighter were many multiples of maybe some other fighters. Nevertheless, you will never find a single MiG-21 pilot who didn't truly love this aircraft and believed very firmly in its capabilities. This was a small jet. These were fighters that were extremely agile, extremely nimble in terms of getting off the ground quickly. They were very feared in the air because they were hard to spot, in visual combat. These were aircraft that were extremely fast. They could fly up to 2 times the speed of sound. These were fighter aircraft that had an extremely high landing speed, which was one of the many challenges that pilots actually faced. So these images coming in from the Chandigarh Air Force Station, one of India's largest, by the way, is a very fitting tribute to the MiG-21. Now, these particular fighters belong to the final MiG-21 squadron called the 23 Squadron, codenamed Panthers, which is actually based not in Chandigarh but in Nal near Bikaner in Rajasthan. That's where the last air interceptor squadron of the MiG-21s was based. But Chandigarh has a lot of historical significance as well. MiG-21s across many different wars have operated from the Chandigarh base, and conducted many combat operations since 1965. So today's ceremony in Chandigarh, as we see it play out, you've just seen the Akash Ganga, para-dropping team display. They've just landed. A ceremonial march towards the dais where they will be saluting the veterans, past chiefs, the current chief as well. Those are the beautiful MiG-21s which have had. I'm so happy to see the MiG-21s painted with the Tiranga on their tail, making them look spanking new just before their retirement, which is one of those beautiful ironic flourishes that the Indian Air Force has given to these amazing jets. Now remember that the Indian Air Force has grappled with fluctuating perceptions of this aircraft. But within the Air Force, I can tell you without any doubt in my mind that this was a deeply loved jet. It was an aircraft that has witnessed, so much of Indian Air Force history, has been an integral stakeholder and player in training generations of men and women, fighter pilots in the Indian Air Force. And that's the reason why, as the Indian Air Force and the country bids it farewell, it is with a great sense of thanks. It is also a great sense of, it's a poignant moment bidding farewell to this aircraft. It's over now to Vishnu Shom, my colleague, who there is no better person to be on the ground covering the story for us than India's journalist who's flown more fighters than anyone else. Vishnu, how does it feel to be just a few meters away from these amazing aircraft that are finally standing down?
Well, the last couple of MiG-21s have just taken off. One of them are being piloted, or is being piloted, by the Chief of Air Staff today, and that's a really significant development. You're going to see these MiG-21s formate over the skies of Chandigarh Air Base, and we should see them very soon overhead. Now, this is a bittersweet day for the Indian Air Force. The Indian Air Force inducted the MiG-21 back in the 1960s. Remember, it's done service in 4 wars for India. There have been 1,200 MiG-21s which have been inducted into the IAF. All sorts of variants of the jet have come in. At the same time, it is bittersweet because there are a lot of people who tragically lost their lives, both in the air, pilots, and on the ground, but that had to do with the aircraft being a difficult aircraft to operate. But over here, I mean, it's difficult to sort of imagine that the Indian Air Force will be an Air Force without the MiG-21. So there are a couple of more planes which are about to take off right now, MiG-21s that you see on the screen right now. These are the last MiG-21 flights that you're going to ever going to see over the Indian skies. So it's fantastic to hear the roar of those Tumansky jet engines one last time as we see these jets take off, and there are a couple of more jets which are also taking off now. So this is the last time, as I mentioned, that you're going to see this spectacle, you hear this sound over Indian skies, the deafening roar of the Tumansky engines of MiG-21s. That's something that has sort of dominated Indian aviation for so long. It's been an aircraft which is it's been the Indian Air Force in a sense. Earlier today I was speaking to Air Commodore SS Tyagi. In the 1971 war, Air Commodore Tyagi, who ultimately ended up flying more sorties on the MiG-21 than any other pilot in the world, actually flew loops over Dhaka trying to bait the Pakistanis to come up into the air and to fly. So they never chose to do that. But it's very loud over here if the studio is trying to tell me something. But it is quite incredible that we should meet these veterans, including Air Commodore Tyagi and many others. And in a little while from now, we expect to get more on the Air Chief, who will be flying today as well. It's not a very long ceremony after the sortie. We'll see the Surya Kirans, the aerobatic display team of the IAF also participate. We will also be able to see a lot of other things in a brief ceremony which is taking place over here. We saw as we see a march past beginning right now. This is fantastic color, happening right in front of us as the celebrations to bring an end to this incredible chapter of the Indian Air Force commences over here. So as I was mentioning, we'll see the Surya Kiran, the Indian Air Force Chief, fly a sortie on the MiG-21. We've seen the Akash Ganga skydiving team of the Indian Air Force as well. And a little while back, we've seen Wing Commander Gitanjali Singh, who spoke a little while back. Let's just take a look. All right, in fact, she is, I'm told, live at this stage. There are a couple of women pilots who are now active in the Indian Air Force flying fighter aircraft, whether it's the MiG-21, and this would be the last time that would take place, or the Rafale or the Sukhoi 30. But we will see a woman officer of the Indian Air Force flying on a MiG-21 for the very last time. And it is a generational shift. It's also a shift, and it marks a shift in the culture of the Indian Air Force to actually move to see women officers take on combat roles in the Indian Air Force.
Truly magnificent, or should I say MiG-nificent images from the Chandigarh Air Force Station of the final 23 Squadron of the Indian Air Force conducting their last flights. These are images that are going to be emblazoned in the minds of air warriors, all taking a look. The incredible sound of those roaring engines with their afterburners on, peeling away into the sky for that final flight is drenched in history, drenched in glory, all the ceremonials being extended. Let's listen into these beautiful sounds.
बस पीछे से
जी हाँ देवी जय हिंद की ये आवाज जो आपको अभी सुनाई पड़ी, इसी जोश के साथ आज ये वायोद्धा आपको इस खतरनाक करतब को दिखा सके। इन्होंने आज अपना प्रण पूरा किया, जैसे आपने अपना प्रण पूरा किया वायुसेना के लिए, देश के लिए। और ठीक ही कहा गया है कि प्रण करना है सहज, कठिन है लेकिन उसे निभाना सबसे बड़ी जांच है व्रत का, अंतिम मूल्य चुकाना। अंतिम मूल्य न दिया अगर तो और मूल्य देना क्या, और करने लगे मुंह प्राणों का तो फिर प्रण लेना क्या। देवियों सज्जनों, मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि आप हमारी इस रोचक प्रस्तुति
These Indian Air Force men over here, after a fantastic display, coming back to their starting position. This on a day when the Indian Air Force is all set to bring an end. MiG-21s. The MiG-21s have now taken off for their final flight. We do expect them to come over Chandigarh Air Base in a little while from now. It's an absolutely spectacular day in a sense, but also bittersweet. There's a mixed legacy about the MiG-21, but let's face it, for 4 wars, for so many decades, the MiG-21 has been an absolutely dominant force in terms of the numbers of aircraft which have been deployed by the Indian Air Force. Now, however, it's time to look at the future. Now it is time to consider the evolving threats which exist by way of air power around the world, and that's what the Indian Air Force is trying to do. The Indian Air Force should have decommissioned the MiG-21s some time back. I'm just going to walk across to this area. As you can see, all over here, we've got photographers from across the world who've gathered over here. It is, it's a remarkable day in that sense, because the interest that exists now, as far as the MiG-21 is concerned, is quite something. We're just going to move to this area over here so that we can try and bring you a few more details. Now, these jets right now, if you're asking where the MiGs are, they're formating over the air, and there's going to be a lot which is going to be taking place. There'll be a flypast, there'll be a Surya Kiran display. We've already seen the Akash Ganga team, that's a team of skydivers, come down with an ensign of the MiG-21. So it's very colorful over here, a lot of pomp, a lot of pageantry, typical of what one sees in the Indian Air Force. But it's, what struck me were the number of veterans who've actually come from all over India, people from the south of the country traveling over here, some world record holders like Air Commodore S.S. Tyagi, who's flown more sorties. He's flown in from Jamnagar to be over here, more sorties on the MiG-21 than any other pilot in the world. So, there's a lot of that which is taking place, and it is quite clearly an incredible day. I mean, I've covered this for 30 years, military aviation. I can't think about an Indian Air Force without the MiG-21, the ubiquitous MiG-21, but that day has arrived. It's back to the studio.
Ladies and gentlemen, please shift your gaze towards left as 3 MiG-21 approaches there in classic big formation. शीशे की रफ्तार से आगे बढ़ती इस फॉर्मेशन का नेतृत्व कर रहे हैं ग्रुप कैप्टन मोहित गुप्ता और बाई एवं दाई तरफ है एयर कमोडोर अमित कुमार।
Okay, as we let these beautiful images wash over us and our viewers, watching these pictures live from the Chandigarh Air Base, where veterans of the MiG-21, it's very difficult to find an Indian Air Force veteran who hasn't trained on the MiG-21. This is a fighter, like I said, that served in huge numbers in the Indian Air Force, and therefore every Indian Air Force pilot, wherever they are, has some kind of a connection with the MiG-21. There are very few who have not gone anywhere close to a MiG-21, and therefore it holds a very special place in the hearts of all air warriors serving and retired. Wing Commander Gitanjali Singh is a well-known veteran. She joins us this morning as well. Wing Commander Singh, welcome. Beautiful images. I can imagine how you feel this morning watching the drawdown of the MiG-21s. Tell us how you're feeling. How do you see these images? 63 years is an entire lifetime.
Good morning, Shiv. Yes, it is indeed. Rather, I would say it's a feeling of missing out, today, along with a lot of emotions, seeing these beautiful visuals of MiG-21, specifically with, I would say a revamp image with the tails beautifully painted with the tricolor. And yes, for a 9-decade-old Indian Air Force with 6 decades of MiG-21s, now I think it would be, I can relate to what Vishnu has rightly said right now. To imagine an Indian Air Force without MiG-21s is going to be, I think, hard. How much modern we might say. This aircraft has seen, the major wars the country has been, to the conflicts as well as the modern day conflicts like Balakot and Operation Sindoor, and has contributed. Even after being reduced to produce squadron, the last one has been in action. So they're coming in from the westernmost belt where they have been deployed, and what better airbase than a historical airbase like Chandigarh, bidding the farewell to this beautiful machine. It gave India the first supersonic capabilities, wherein we started commanding the skies, our own skies, who operates, where he operates, and what do they do within those limits, and the limits that we decide upon. So that has been the power that MiG-21 got and, enabled the Indian Air Force with. And yes, of course, a beautiful machine.
I just wanted to say that 63 years, like I said, is a lifetime, but it's not like these aircraft served for 63 years. These were, across different versions, many of them retired. We do know many MiG-21s were lost in accidents. These were manufactured by HAL over many years as well. So these were aircraft that were built for many years, and across different types and variants they served for 63 years. Just in case anyone is thinking that the aircraft itself flew for 63 years, that is not the case. The ones that entered in 1963 were vastly different from the ones that are finally retiring today, which are basically the MiG-21 Bisons. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, India's spaceman, also trained on MiG-21s, and he is in Chandigarh at this beautiful ceremony. Here's what he said, looking back at the aircraft that made him a fighter pilot.
मेरे जीवन का बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा रहा है और बहुत ज़्यादा मैंने काफ़ी फ्लाइंग की है MiG-21 पे, और मैं मानता हूँ कि एक तरह से मेरा कॉकपिट ऑफ MiG-21 has been my greatest teacher. In a sense, it has taught me a lot, and I'm very excited to be here to see the last flight of MiG-21 and meeting everybody who was a part of my journey.
आपने कब से कब तक MiG-21 पे काम किया था?
मैंने 2007 से MiG-21 फ्लाई किया है और 2017 एक्टिवली फ्लाई किया है.
Okay, the flight display continues there in Chandigarh. This is the last that most people are going to see of the MiG-21. Remember, the MiG-21 has been a fixture at air shows. They've flown during the Aero India shows as well. But the public doesn't get a frequent chance to see these aircraft up close. So today is a very special day for the families of MiG-21 veterans and pilots being able to come close to these aircraft one last time. Remember, like my colleague Vishnu was saying from there in Chandigarh, the MiG-21 has had a mixed legacy in popular culture. It has had a reputation for being things like a flying coffin, etc. But those, for most part, have been undeserving descriptions of an aircraft that has otherwise been very, very beloved. There were extraneous factors that led to the fact that the MiG-21 ended up having so many accidents. There were, there were training issues. There was a lack of forward planning. There were priorities within the government. The fact that the MiG-21 itself was not an easy aircraft to fly, had the highest landing speed of any aircraft ever built. All of these compounded into, what led to this aircraft causing the deaths of many pilots. But you will still never find an Indian Air Force pilot who trained or flew the MiG-21 that doesn't strongly believe and love this particular aircraft. So whether it was Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman, or the pilots who flew during Operation Sindoor. This was an aircraft, let's remember, that until just a few months ago was deemed to be fully combat ready to execute India's military objectives. Vishnu is on the ground. Vishnu, a huge crowd there of very proud MiG-21 veterans, including Air Commodore Bandal Tyagi, who holds the record for flying the MiG-21 the most, having the most number of hours in the cockpit of a MiG-21. What's it like being there, Vishnu? What else are we going to see today?
Well, Shiv, I can't hear you at all because, as you can imagine, in having come to air bases as often as you have, we've got MiGs in the air right now, MiG-21s, the roar of their Tubansky jet engines now over the Indian skies for the very last time. It's absolutely incredible. We've seen one of the MiG-21s land a little while back. So what they're doing now is formating over the airbase, and then as soon as they formate and they circle around, they take and then they come in and they land. So that's what's taking place right now. And it's going to be over. It's not that many MiGs which have been in the air. But just to see these overhead is incredible. And let's talk about the landing, because that's what takes place next. With the MiG-21 landing is always an extremely difficult landing. It lands at a speed faster than most aircraft in the world. And we're actually going to see them on our side over there. If Rakesh can just focus or try and get these MiGs in the sky, as this is very much a last chance to see these. These are Jaguars in the sky. So this is the second part of the display, which is now starting up. We've got Jaguar deep penetration strike aircraft, and we've got MiG-21s follow them over there very, very aggressively. So this is quite a display as you see these sharply banking MiG-21s in the skies above me. So that was absolutely incredible to see this send-off by the Indian Air Force's Jaguars for the MiG-21s. The Jaguar is a deep penetration strike aircraft, also a fairly old aircraft at this stage, acquired by the IAF in the late 70s. But to see these jets all formate in the skies, that was absolutely, absolutely incredible. But so it's all happening over here. It's difficult to sort of spot a lot of this because, as you know, Shiv, it's miss it and you've lost it. But fortunately, it's a bit brighter today. It's clear today. It is. It's amazing. So, is that the Chief's MiG? All right. So come closer to me. That's the Chief's MiG-21. Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh has landed just a little while back, and that's where he is going to be coming out of the jet for the very last time. I mean, it's incredible to see an Indian Air Force chief be a part of the ceremony in this fashion. Of course, as you know, Shiv, Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh wouldn't be found anywhere but in the cockpit of the MiG-21. And it's not a trainer that he's flying, it's a single-seater. So he's been practicing for this. Like so many other Indian Air Force pilots over the decades, he spent a considerable period of time on the MiG-21s as well. But then he moved on to other MiG aircraft. It's incredible. And I just wonder what thoughts would be on his mind right now as he switches off the jet engine of that MiG-21 for the very last time. So a couple of other MiGs in the air. It's all happening now in the sky. So you've got MiG-21s, you've got the Surya Kirans as well, the MiG-21s peeling off, and the second part of this air display is going to happen in a little while from now. The Surya Kirans are going to come, and we've got the Tejas fighters also in the air. And the Tejas is important, it's impressive, because it's going to be the MiG-21's replacement. It already is in a particular sense. But I was in Bangalore just a couple of days back. Oh, and I can tell you, Shiv, I'll tell you what I smell right now. I smell jet fuel. And just all of those jets, flying overhead, that familiar smell of jet fuel, that was just incredible. Again, blink and you miss it. Those three MiG-21s in formation, followed by the Tejas fighters and the Surya Kiran formation. And the Surya Kiran will, of course, come back and then showcase their skills over us. So we're going to see a MiG-21 has just come in to land now. The last couple of MiG-21s which has landed. So again, I was talking about this, and then I moved on to something else. The MiG-21 lands at a speed of more than 350 kilometers an hour. It's an extremely difficult plane to land. And it requires a great deal of training. In fact, back in the day when the Indian Air Force first inducted the MiG-21, there were only a handful of pilots, or the best pilots, who were picked to operate it, because it was absolutely clear from day one that the MiG-21 is a difficult aircraft, particularly in certain formations. It's going to come, another one is going to come in to land right over here, and we're going to catch that landing in just a few moments from now. We're going to swish pan across as the aircraft passes by us. You can see a MiG-21 just sort of touching down now, and we've got a great shot over there of that MiG-21 holding up the nose as long as the pilot can. That's aerodynamic braking. And these are the last few MiG-21s. There's one more coming in. We're going to focus on that MiG-21. And this might actually be the last one, or one of the last few coming in to land at this stage. Think about it, these planes will not fly again. It was here in Chandigarh that the MiG-21, and holding up that nose for aerodynamic braking to try and slow the aircraft down, hold it in its sort of motion one last time before the nose comes down and the jet slows down. It's the parachute deployed, which retards the speed of the aircraft for one last time. You'll see these jets come by and probably taxi past us. But what an incredible sight, I can tell you it is for all of us. And there are so many veterans over here, and I dare say this is going to be a poignant day for all of them. There'll be many tears which are shed. The MiG-21 has been the Indian Air Force for so long. Yes, it's had a somewhat checkered past given the number of losses that the aircraft has sustained. It's been a particularly difficult aircraft to fly. Hundreds of people have lost their lives in the air, on the ground. But the Indian Air Force at that stage didn't have a choice. We needed fighters, we needed it in large numbers. The Soviets came to our rescue in a sense. They offered us the MiG-21. And that's when the Indian Air Force's tryst with this beautiful fighter started. We've got one more MiG, which has just come into land right now. You can see that on your screen. That tail chute deployed for the last time, like in the case of the other jet. The previous jet has now come off the runway, and it should be coming to its parking position, which we should see in a little while from now. So absolutely superb what we get to see over here. The association that the IAF has with the MiG-21 is truly something. A little while back, I spoke to a senior Indian Air Force aviator, Air Commodore A.S. Malik. As we see one more MiG-21, and let's listen in to what he told me a little while back. Group Captain C.S. Malik with us at this stage. He's flown several variants of the MiG-21.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Malik as well, thanks very much.
Thank you.
For being with us. All variants?
Yes.
So that started with the old ones in the 60s?
Yeah, type 77 onwards. Type 77, 96, 75, all three variants.
And ma'am, for you, seeing your husband flying the MiG-21 over the years, could you tell us that experience, what it was like?
It was always a very proud feeling, and today very overwhelming, very nostalgic, and it's lovely to be part of such a August gathering here. And of course, I was very proud whenever people used to ask me, where are you and what does your husband do? And like, he flies a fighter pilot, and especially a MiG-21, which is one of the legendary aircrafts, and of course the backbone of the Indian Air Force.
What does this day mean for you, sir?
Yeah, it's got mixed feelings. Some you will agree. It's been part of my life for my entire career in Air Force. I've flown MiG-21s. So when we are saying bye to it, adieu to it today, yeah, it does give a mixed feeling.
What is your MiG-21 sort of standout memory?
There's nothing to beat it.
Describe to us the feeling of flying over the desert at night in a MiG-21.
I've flown over desert, I've flown in the valleys, and I've flown over the sea. Well, it is challenging. I won't say flying over desert with no indications of lights or orientation. Flying over sea with no orientation indications. These are challenging, but that's what is the grit of the pilot. Yes, you got to do it, we will do it.
So it's a great aircraft and having served us so well, but you would have lost friends of yours in crashes, and that's a reality we must also accept. How have you dealt with that?
See, while I agree to the fact that yes, we've had losses, each one, may God bless his soul, and the life must move on. Yes, you lost somebody, you regret the loss, you try and learn and move ahead. And that's what should be the ethos. If you get bogged down with the losses, you will not move ahead.
Well, it's all over then for the MiG-21 in the Indian Air Force. I believe all of the MiG-21s have now landed, and we should see them taxi back one last time. I spoke to the world record holder, Air Commodore Tyagi, he's known, a little while back. He's flown more than 4,000 hours on the MiG-21, 6,000 odd sorties on the aircraft. Let's listen in to what he said. It's a bittersweet day for the Indian Air Force. After more than 6 decades in service, the MiG-21, which has defined so much about the IAF, is going to be flying into the sunset. The MiG-21 in IAF service is all about records. And I'm joined by someone who is a hero in the Indian Air Force, somebody who has flown more sorties, more hours on the MiG-21 than any fighter pilot in the world. And I've got a lot of AV geeks over here, people like myself, and they are here because they want to hear Air Commodore SS Tyagi speak to us. Thanks very much, sir, for speaking to us. Air Commodore, you flew your last sortie on the MiG-21 in December 1996, right? This aircraft has defined your career. What does this day mean for you?
Well, I mean, my life, if there was one thing which always stayed with me, is MiG-21. And as they say, for any pilot who's flown MiG-21, for him, the first love becomes MiG-21. And he can never get over it in spite of flying any other aircraft. Like I have flown all other aircraft which were in Indian Air Force. But to me, MiG-21 is the aircraft because it's the pilot's aircraft.
Air Commodore, you've trained an entire generation, several generations of MiG-21 pilots in the Indian Air Force. Could you tell us about your role in passing on all of your experience to a younger generation or generations of pilots? Because you love to fly more than anything else.
The fact is, everyone asked me this question that how did you manage so much of flying? No, I didn't manage anything. I only managed one thing, and that was that anyone who was posted in my unit, and I was lucky and the Air Force was very kind to post me and make me continuously involved with MiG-21. I was part of nearly 10 MiG-21 squadron. Then I was on 2 air bases where I was crew, station commander, AOC, and this all were where MiG-21s were there. So with the result, I always kept on flying. And one thing which I had learned very early in my life in 1960, early 66, and it was that whatever you learn, because nobody those days used to teach you anything. You had to learn everything by yourself. So I said, no, we waste a lot of time. It's best that what I have learned, I must pass it on. And that was my principle. I am proud of not what I have achieved and logged. I am proud that I must have trained the highest number of pilots fully operational in the world.
Vishnu, that conversation you had with Air Commodore Tyagi is absolutely amazing. Incredible to meet the warrior who holds the record for the maximum number of flight hours in a MiG-21. You know, a true living legend right there in the flesh. I cannot imagine what it must have been like for him to watch his beloved fighter standing down. But Vishnu, we can still see the Surya Kiran team in the air over the Chandigarh base. Is there going to be any more MiG-21 flying? Is the air chief back on the ground? What does the rest of the ceremony today look like?
I think it's done for the MiG-21. I don't think there's any further MiG-21. I think they've all landed. What we might actually see is a few more. There's going to be a water cannon salute which is going to take place. We're going to see the MiG-21s taxiing past us. But I think at this stage, I think it's over as far as the MiG-21 is concerned. I think we've seen the last flight. There's so much noise here, as you can imagine, with hundreds of people. It's fairly confusing, but I do believe that the last flight of the MiG-21 Shiv has taken place.
Is the Air Force telling you what's going to happen with this last handful of MiG-21s? I imagine that there are going to be a lot of museum pieces. There will be demand from abroad as well. I read a report somewhere that some vintage or heritage squadrons could see maybe one or two of these aircraft still continue to fly even after their retirement.
I have no doubt that that's going to take place. You can't have an Indian Air Force heritage flight, which is a wonderful heritage flight, by the way. We've got several old, ancient Indian Air Force aircraft which are a part of that, and I have no doubt that the MiG-21 will be a part of that. But the question is this: would it be the Bison? Would it be older variants? Would some have to be refurbished to be brought back into flying condition? All of that we're going to have to wait and see, and I think that's something we're going to look at in a while. But it's fantastic to see the Surya Kiran display right now. The Surya Kiran, India's Indian Air Force aerobatic squadron, honouring the legacy of the MiG-21s today over the skies of Chandigarh. I can tell you, as our conditions go, it's a pretty clear day. And so therefore we do expect to see some fantastic photographs emerging out of all of this. And I think it's fantastic that we actually do have a great day when the MiG-21 flew for the very first time. It's nice for me to actually see, Shiv, the landing of all, including the very last MiG-21. I noticed the pilot hold his nose in the air after touching down, aerodynamic braking, to just sort of keep the aircraft up over there for the last possible moment before the nose wheel dropped down, and he had to then stop and then taxi off the runway. The Indian Air Force Chief was also there. He also landed. We saw his aircraft taxi past. But yes, heritage flight, absolutely, Shiv. We should see the MiG-21s there without a doubt.
Vishnu, on a personal note, nobody's flown more fighters as a journalist than you have. And I know you've tried to get into the cockpit of a MiG-21, try to get a flight in one of those. Why didn't that happen, and how do you feel personally today watching these aircraft retire?
So Shiv, you can rub it in. I'm too tall, and that's the answer. My leg length is such that I can't get into the cockpit of the MiG-21. That was a Surya Kiran Hawk, just fly really low, whoosh past us. That was pretty amazing. But I couldn't get into the ejection seat of a MiG-21, and so they said that, look, don't even try to apply, it's rejected before you know. But for me, the sortie of a lifetime, one among many I should say, but was during the Kargil War 1999, when I flew with Indian Force shortly just as the war started winding down. 3 sorties from Adampur Air Force Base in Mirage 2000s. That was an incredible experience, because these were the same pilots who I flew with, who would bomb Tiger Hill and then Munto Dhalo and a lot else. But imagine the number of MiG-21 stories, coming back to the MiG-21 point, that actually are all over here, and we brought you a couple of those accounts. Just incredible stuff that we've seen over the last little while. And now, of course, the Surya Kirans. And Shiv, you should have been over here, but as I understand it, one of us at all times needs to be working. But that apart, it's the smell of jet fuel as these Hawks fly past me, which I think it's so incredible. It's just so much a part of the entire aviation experience. So things are happening really, really fast. Hopefully you've got a feed from multiple cameras coming in. And so there you have it. The 26th of September 2025, a landmark day for the Indian Air Force and for global aviation, with the MiG-21, with the MiG-21 ending its final sortie, or flying for the very first time. We've got another Surya Kiran coming right up in front of us, that you can see 2 of them. Just watch these amazing pictures, very low level, as they soar past colors, and then across over there at very high altitude in front of the audience over here. This is better than any T20 match, I can tell you. Absolutely incredible stuff. Shiv.
Wonderful pictures, Vishnu. And, if I can throw in a small nugget of history, the aircraft you see in the Surya Kiran team is the Hawk Mark 132. It's a British trainer that the Indian Air Force uses to train its pilots in advanced fast jet training. And this is an aircraft which took a very long time to enter the Indian Air Force, nearly 2 decades. And it is the delay in this aircraft entering the Indian Air Force's training schools that actually played a part, according to most experts in the Air Force, for the high number of accidents that took place on the MiG-21. So just a small bit of aviation history and maybe a little bit of poignant irony as well, seeing the Hawk flying over Chandigarh at this point of time. These are the Surya Kiran Hawks, incredible team, 9 aircraft formation, one of the few in the world doing their thing over the Chandigarh Air Force Station. Fantastic aerobatic display. This is a team that travels all across the world and is the pride of the Indian Air Force. And as you can see from these pictures, they are in huge demand at events and flight displays all over the country. Extremely busy team that is based in Bengaluru and flies flight displays at air shows on different continents. And there is hardly a time when they are they're really on the ground. They're constantly flexing the Indian Air Force's message of touch the sky with glory. So very, very fitting that with their beautiful Tiranga vapor trails, as you can see in these pictures, the corkscrew maneuver with 3 in formation is an excellent signature move of the Surya Kiran aerobatics team as they pay tribute and farewell to the MiG-21. Remember, these fighters are flying just meters from each other. It's gut-wrenching. Images from the cockpits of these aircraft will be released a little later today, I'm sure, where you'll get a chance to see what the Surya Kiran really means. But there is Vishnu, like I said, a link between the Hawk and the MiG-21. So it's interesting to see this aircraft in the air paying tribute to the retirement of the MiG-21.
That's right, Shiv. That's exactly what's taken place. What they were doing is honoring, in this display, the Surya Kirans were honoring the MiG-21s. We saw the Akash Ganga team as well, the skydivers with a particular ensign, sort of dangling under the divers, with the MiG-21 symbol and ensign, sort of honoring the MiG-21s. But that's what's been happening in Chandigarh, and I dare say this incredible chapter of the Indian last flights in squadron service. That has now, it seems to be coming to an end right now. It's back to the studio.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro, most stunning true color pro grade camera. Motorola Edge 60 Pro. Grab Motorola Edge 60 Pro today.
Rajasthan is history, culture, and much more. And I have been reporting on all things royal for more than 25 years.
The colors, the culture, and the complexities of the Northeast is different from the rest of the country. I have been bringing the Northeast closer to the capital for over 15 years. Madhya Pradesh is the heart of India, and I have been capturing its every beat for over 10 years, covering the corridors of power, what is said, what is left unsaid, and what it actually means for you and me. I have it all covered.
Kashmir is often called paradise on earth, a region that has been in a state of flux. From conflict to India's crowning glory, I have been reporting and decoding Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades.
Vanakkam Tamil Nadu.
Now the battle for Tamil Nadu 2026 is open now.
After Chief Minister Stalin rolls up his sleeves.
And Vijay steps in as a star challenger.
This is a mass gathering, not for cash.
Meanwhile, a former Chief Minister, Edapadi Palanisamy, begins his fight back.
The big comeback campaign by
It's the final flight of the MiG-21. I'm going to cut across to Vishnu, who's going to take us through what's happening at the Chandigarh Air Base, a day of gratitude, of nostalgia. Vishnu, take over.
Historic moment for the Indian Air Force. It's the last time that we're going to see the MiG-21 in squadron service. They've all had their sorties, and now for the last time they are moving past us. This is the last time that we're going to see these aircraft. It's an incredible moment, and one which is so poignant for so many over here. To see the MiG-21s for the very last time is absolutely incredible. So we've got a few more of the MiGs in front of us, and then they're all going to be moving back to their final parking positions. This is the last time that in Indian Air Force squadron service that we will see the MiG-21s actually move past us, and that's what is taking place now for the very, very last time. And there's a water cannon salute taking place right now. So you can see that water cannon salute now taking place. And you'll see the other aircraft, including one which is taxiing right in front of me right now. Incredible, incredible sight of a MiG-21 taxiing right in front. And it's, it's superb to be able to be seeing this. A MiG-21 taxiing right in front for the very last time. And they're all positioning for their final position. The pilots will come off in a little while from now for the last time. So it's the Indian Air Force is essentially done and dusted with the MiG-21, and that's what this seems to commemorate at this juncture. It is quite remarkable to see and be present over here at the end of this chapter. We'll see the pilots alight from their aircraft. The final two are now getting the water cannon salute as they sort of move past us, and then they're going to be parked in a particular position. The pilots will alight, and then of course we'll hear the Defence Minister speak as well at a certain stage. These are the last MiG-21s of the Indian Air Force in front of you.
A moment of nostalgia there. We have Vishnu Som covering it from the Chandigarh Air Base. Shivarur also in the newsroom. We also have two guests with us today, Group Captain Dr. M.J. Augustine Vinod and Air Marshal R.G.K. Kapoor. Air Marshal Kapoor, I want to come to you first as we go through these nostalgic visuals as well. And before the Defence Minister speaks, it's a nostalgic day for the Indian Air Force. For you, tell us more why it is.
I grew up flying this beautiful machine. First time I actually touched it physically was in 1986. After getting commissioned, having flown Kiran, which was taking off at say 100 knots, which is about 180 kilometers, to transitioning to fly it at, taking off at 340, 350 kilometers per hour. I mean, double the speed. Time is the same, so it's double acceleration, and everything has to come in that time. So it was time versus visualization. And the first time I flew the trainer, I still remember the instructor behind said, okay, engage reheat. And that kick that I felt of the reheat, I had never felt it before. And today, even after retirement, it is still so much a part of my body. The moment we got airborne, he said, select your undercarriage up. And I was way behind. I think I was still on the runway where the aircraft was still in the air, and having landed, I was still in the air and the aircraft was on the ground. So that is the kind of first experience I have. that true nostalgia is, when we were flying this aircraft in operational flying.
So I will have to interrupt you for a moment. This is a highly nostalgic moment. We'll come back to it. But the pilot's just getting off the MiG. Let's go back to Vishnu. Vishnu, what are you seeing on the ground?
Actually saying goodbye to the aircraft for the very last time. They are inspecting the aircraft, they're walking around the aircraft, and that's what they do. That's what they're supposed to do when, after every single sortie. So they'll inspect the aircraft. There is a woman pilot among them as well. I can see her actually over there, and she's inspecting the aircraft as well. She's one of the squadron leader is one of the few women pilots, fighter pilots in the Indian Air Force. We should be able to spot her as well in a little while from now. Remember the Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh was also flew today, and Priya Sharma, the young squadron leader of the Indian Air Force, in what really heralds a change in the generation for the Indian Air Force, and it's gender parity in a sense, because the Indian Air Force, more than the other forces, really championed the cause of women in the combat arms, and that's what we've seen over here. We've seen the young squadron leader actually emerge from her aircraft as she's one of the pilots, and they're saluting each other right now, and these images I presume are absolutely incredible. Squadron leader Priya Sharma, one of the pilots, the final batch of pilots, now marching to the crowd right in front. This is absolutely incredible to see them stop and to salute. It is incredible that they are doing this. It's the last time that you see all of them. We see the Chief of the Air Staff, the Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh, to also be present at this occasion. He will be over here in a little while from now.
Vishnu, for decades, the MiG-21 was called the backbone of the Indian Air Force. Seeing these images, it just goes on to reiterate the role it's played for decades in the Air Force, hasn't it?
All right, I'm sorry, I'm unable to hear you at all. But I'm just going to stick with these pictures. We see the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, along with the Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh, walk to the final batch of Indian Air Force MiG-21 pilots, and he'll be shaking the hands of the MiG-21 pilots over there as they bid adieu to the MiG-21 today over here in Chandigarh. It's the same Air Force base where the MiG-21 entered service for the first time in the early 60s. So we expect the Defence Minister to address the gathering over here in a little while from now. In fact, he's moving to the dais now to make his address. Let's cut across to this in a little while. He's going to start, but all the pilots now approaching the Defence Minister, marching towards him, and he will be taking the salute of these pilots.
Shiv, if you're still with me, a day of gratitude and nostalgia before the address. Let's just talk about that as well.
An incredible amount of nostalgia. I cannot even imagine what it must be like. Air Marshal Kapoor says the MiG-21 still feels like a part of his body. Imagine what it feels like to be the last batch of pilots actually flying the MiG-21 and pretty much laying it to rest. This is an honor that will never be forgotten. It's a huge honor for these pilots. It's a massive honor for their families as well. I want to take a moment to also acknowledge the maintenance crews, the ground staff, the people who inspect the aircraft. Pilots tend to get all the glory, and deservingly so, but it takes an entire squadron to keep these beautiful fighters in the air. So India salutes all of the MiG-21 ground engineers, staff, mechanics, those who maintained these fighters and did such a splendid job keeping them airworthy for so long. It is truly a feat, Vedika, of India's resilience, the Indian Air Force's commitment to keeping these aircraft combat worthy. And like I keep saying, these aircraft during Operation Sindoor only a few months ago were actually flying combat missions, and now they're retiring. And that's a testament to the Indian Air Force's incredible competence in keeping what are otherwise considered to be vintage aircraft in the air and able to actually execute or be able to be in the air to execute India's military objectives. So, the Air Force salute to these fighters and the men and women that kept them in the air, flew them, maintained them, kept them in ship shape, like children every day, seeing them go out. brings a tear to the eye, and I think the kind of familial nostalgia that will be felt for the Panther squadron tomorrow, for a civilian like me and us, really, we've got veterans among us. We'll never really be able to feel it. I think the only thing we can feel today is a sense of vicarious nostalgia and a huge amount of gratitude, Vedika.
We also have Group Captain Dr. M.J. Augustine Vinod with us. Group Captain, nostalgic moment for you as well. Just take us through your first touch of the MiG when you first, had that experience. We'll, of course, keep going back to the ground and Vishnu, but this is a day of gratitude like I was speaking to Shiv about. It's a day to remember those conflicts that it's witnessed, the sacrifice, the legendary stories that we know of the MiG.
Absolutely, Vedika. And as offline, I was talking to you. The pilot standing next to the lady pilot, I think, is one of my pupils. His name is, if now I'm not wrong, Vishnu will check it out, is Sumit Yadav. I mean, he was one of my pupil when in a MiG-21 squadron, I had the opportunity of converting him to MiG-21s. This particular aeroplane, 2273, I was looking up at my logbook while you were showing the visuals. I have flown close to 130 plus sorties on this particular fighter, which is just taxied in. So that is a kind of memory and attachment, like you said, extension of my body there. And three of the gentlemen who have probably flown the maximum fighters are also there, Shiv, Vishnu, and of course on the other side, Gaurav. So the three, quasi fighter pilots, you, Vedika, and me, and Air Marshal Kapoor, who have flown MiG-21 the longest, commanded a MiG-21 unit, both of us. So this particular panel is, probably the loaded panel as it can get, talking about, MiG-21 flying into the sunset. On my marriage day, I told Varsha, my wife, but you will. I said two, but I told her you will always be number 3 in my life, my country, my MiG-21, and it'll be you. So today, as it flies into sunset, maybe I can upgrade it to number 2. Like I said in other channels as well, I'm so in love with this particular airplane. I got a tattoo for myself, MiG-21 in my hand, in my forearm. So that is the kind of love I have for this airplane, and forever will be. She will go with me to my deathbed, whenever that is.
So how was it to fly this fighter? Tell us more about your experiences.
So taking a leaf from what Air Marshal said, the kick. So actually, just before the kick, there are 2 more things that happens, which is called the light, fork, and the drop. So when you apply reheat, you get the reheat light. Then the engine actually drops the RPM because the exhaust nozzle opens, and then there is the kick, and that kick is like, whoa! The first time you're pinned to the seat, and it's to some extent it's quite scary, because that is a kind of acceleration that MiG-21 has, because it has to roll and take off and reach that speed. Air Marshal was talking about 350 kilometers an hour in about 2,000 to 3,000 feet. And MiG-21 Bison and BIS has something called the emergency power reserve, also called the secondary heat. I remember doing an air test at very low fuel, came over the runway with the secondary heat, and pulled up vertically, climbed to 20,000 feet with runway on my rear view mirror still visible. So that is the kind of power this particular aeroplane has. Wonderful, wonderful machine. And flying into the sunset is, it's nostalgic. It's a feeling that, only us people who have flown it will have. My salute to the great work and the war horse of Indian Air Force, and to the men and women who have flown it, and the men and women who have flown it and flown free into the afterlife. I will salute to them as well, and many of whom I have picked up in plastic bags, and salute to them. My friends, my colleagues, my brothers in arms. Salute to them as well, and salute to their families.
May Shiv just take us through what's happening at the Chandigarh Air Base right now. Photo op moment, an important one that will be in the corridors of the Air Force headquarters, of course, and many other places that we're going to see. That final salute happening at this moment. All right, I'm going to try and reconnect with Shiv there, but Air Marshal Kapoor, coming back to you. You know, the MiG-21 was inducted in the 1960s and went on to play such a decisive role in multiple wars. Can you take us back to some of those key moments?
Yes, of course. The 65 war was when we had very few MiG-21s. They were just being inducted. And so it did not play a major role in the 65 war. But definitely, I think it played a pivotal role in 71 war when it created that full air supremacy and air superiority over eastern Pakistan. And which helped us, undertake Tangel drop or the Meghna crossing and also the attacks on Tezgaon and Kurmitola.
Unfortunately, this is a live situation.
Yeah.
We'll come back to you in a moment, but the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh now.
Okay. Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, Chief of Naval Staff, Admiral D.K. Tripathi, Chief of Army Staff, General Upendra Dwivedi, Chief of Air Staff, Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh, DDR&D and Chairman DRDO, Dr. Sameer V. Kamath, Defence Services K3 Financial Advisor Dr. Mayank Sharma, यहाँ मौजूद भारत सरकार और हमारी तीनों सेनाओं के अधिकारीगण, उनके परिवारजन एवं हमारे ऐसे वायुसेना के अधिकारी जिन्होंने कि अपनी पूरी जिंदगी खपाई है अपनी सेवा में, ऐसे हमारे सभी पूर्व सैनिक अधिकारी एवं अन्य कर्मी, अन्य एयर वॉरियर्स, देवियों व सज्जनों, सबसे पहले मैं देश की संप्रभुता, एकता और अखंडता को अक्षुण्ण बनाए रखने में अपना अहम योगदान देने वाले इंडियन एयर फोर्स के वीरों को मैं नमन करता हूं। आजादी से लेकर अब तक आप सबने भारत की सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित करने के लिए जिस शौर्य और पराक्रम का परिचय दिया है, वह अपने आप में सभी भारतवासियों के लिए प्रेरणादायी है। आपकी वीरता की यह जो यात्रा रही है, इसके पीछे मैं समझता हूं MiG-21 का भी बहुत बड़ा योगदान रहा है। साथियों, आज हम सब MiG-21 की फाइनल ऑपरेशनल सॉर्टी के लिए एकत्र हुए थे। इस मौके पर आप सबके बीच आकर मेरे मन में कई सारे इमोशंस तैर रहे हैं, कई भावनाएं तैर रही हैं। मेरे मन में इस समय गौरव की भावना भी है, तो वहीं एक तरफ कृतज्ञता की भावना भी है। साथियों, आज जब हम MiG-21 को इसकी ऑपरेशनल जर्नी से विदाई दे रहे हैं, तो मुझे लगता है हम एक ऐसे अध्याय को विदा करने जा रहे हैं जो न केवल इंडियन एयर फोर्स के इतिहास में, बल्कि हमारी पूरी मिलिट्री एविएशन की जर्नी में गोल्डन लेटर्स में लिखा जाएगा। MiG-21 केवल एक एयरक्राफ्ट या मशीन भर ही नहीं है, बल्कि यह भारत और रशिया के बीच गहरे संबंधों का एक प्रमाण भी है। साथियों, एक तरफ तो मिलिट्री एविएशन का खुद का जो इतिहास है वह अपने आप में इनक्रेडिबल है ही, दूसरी तरफ MiG-21 ने मिलिट्री एविएशन की जर्नी में कई और प्राउड मोमेंट्स यानी गौरव के क्षण जोड़े हैं। दुनिया के मिलिट्री एविएशन के इतिहास में ऐसा कोई फाइटर जेट नहीं हुआ जो इतनी बड़ी संख्या में निर्मित हुआ हो। दुनिया भर में MiG-21 के 11,500 से अधिक विमान बनाए गए और उनमें से लगभग 850 विमान भारतीय वायुसेना का ही वह हिस्सा रहे हैं। साथियों, यह संख्या अपने आप में इस फाइटर एयरक्राफ्ट की पॉपुलरिटी, इसकी क्रेडिबिलिटी और इसकी मल्टी डायमेंशनल कैपेबिलिटीज की एक टेस्टिमनी है। अभी आप लोगों ने देखा कि MiG-21 की फाइनल फ्लाई पास्ट को एयर चीफ मार्शल A.P. सिंह ने स्वयं लीड किया है और यह इस मशीन की क्रेडिबिलिटी और एयर वॉरियर्स के मन में इसके सम्मान को दर्शाता है। इतने लंबे समय तक MiG-21 अनेक वीरतापूर्ण कृत्यों का साक्षी रहा है। इसका योगदान किसी एक घटना तक या केवल एक युद्ध तक सीमित नहीं रहा है। 1971 के वार से लेकर कारगिल के युद्ध तक या फिर बालाकोट एयर स्ट्राइक से लेकर ऑपरेशन सिंदूर तक ऐसा कोई क्षण नहीं रहा जब MiG-21 ने हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस को जबरदस्त मजबूती न प्रदान की हो। 1971 का वार भला कौन भूल सकता है। MiG-21 ने पाकिस्तान के साथ युद्ध के दौरान विपरीत परिस्थितियों में जिस दिन ढाका के गवर्नर हाउस पर हमला किया, उसी दिन उस युद्ध के परिणाम की रूपरेखा तय कर दी गई। इसके अलावा भी इसके लंबे इतिहास में अनेक ऐसे मौके आए जब MiG-21 ने अपनी डिसाइसिव कैपेसिटी साबित की है। साथियों, कोई भी ऐतिहासिक मिशन हो, हर बार MiG-21 ने तिरंगे का सम्मान बढ़ाया है। इसलिए यह फेयरवेल हमारी कलेक्टिव मेमोरीज का भी है और हमारे नेशनल प्राइड का भी है और इस जर्नी का भी है जिसमें करेज, सैक्रिफाइस और एक्सलेंस की कहानी लिखी गई है। साथियों, MiG-21 की इस शानदार जर्नी और इस कार्यक्रम को एक अलग नजरिए से भी मैं देख रहा हूं। यह नजरिया हमारे प्राचीन भारतीय परंपराओं की भी एक झलक दे रहा है। हमारा जो एंशिएंट कल्चर है वो हमें यही सिखाता है कि केवल लिविंग ही नहीं बल्कि नॉन लिविंग थिंग्स भी इसमें ईश्वर का वास होता है। हमारे यहाँ ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वम कहा गया है, यानी हर एक चीज में ईश्वर को देखा गया है। हमारे यहाँ जमीन, आसमान, पेड़, यहाँ तक कि घास को भी पूजा जाता है। हम तो पत्थर में भी देवता का वास मानते हैं। हम तो माता भूमि ही पुत्रो अहम पृथिव्याः कहने वाले लोग हैं, यानी हम सब इस भूमि को अपनी माता और खुद को इसकी संतान मानते हैं। आप सब ने देखा होगा कि जब कोई नया घर बनता है तो हम उसमें प्रवेश करने से पहले पूजा करते हैं। जब कोई नई गाड़ी आती है तो उसका भी हमारे यहाँ पूजन होता है। और अभी कुछ ही दिनों में हम सब दशहरा में शस्त्र पूजन भी करेंगे। यह परंपरा केवल आस्था और विश्वास नहीं है, यह हर टूल के प्रति, हर सिस्टम के प्रति, हर इंस्ट्रूमेंट के प्रति हमारी कृतज्ञता की यह भावना है जो हमें प्रोटेक्ट करती है, जो हमें एम्पावर करती है। हमारी सिविलाइजेशन और हमारी कल्चर हमें यही सिखाती है कि रेस्पेक्ट सिर्फ इंसान को ही नहीं बल्कि हर उस चीज को दिया जाना चाहिए जिसने हमारे जीवन में कुछ न कुछ योगदान दिया है। साथियों, जब हम हर छोटी बड़ी चीज को इतना सम्मान देते हैं तो MiG-21 तो हमारा नेशनल प्राइड है। यह तो हमारी रक्षा का शील्ड रहा है, हमारी शक्ति का यह सिंबल रहा है और इसलिए इसका सम्मान करना भला हम कैसे छोड़ सकते हैं। इसलिए आज जब हम MiG-21 को फेयरवेल देने के लिए यहाँ पर एकत्रित हुए हैं तो इसे सिर्फ एक फॉर्मल मिलिट्री सेरेमनी की तरह ही नहीं देखा जाना चाहिए। यह एक सांस्कृतिक परंपरा का विस्तार है। जैसे हम अपने सोल्जर्स की रिटायरमेंट पर उन्हें सम्मान देते हैं, उसी तरह आज हम इस माइटी मशीन को सम्मान दे रहे हैं जिसने डिकेड्स तक हमारी सुरक्षा का भार अपने विंग्स पर उठाया है। साथियों, भारत के गांव का बच्चा MiG-21 के बारे में जानता है और इसके शौर्य और पराक्रम को भी अच्छी तरह जानता है और यह एयरक्राफ्ट हमारे देश की मेमोरीज और इमोशंस में डीपली इम्बीडेड है। 1963 में जब MiG-21 पहली बार हमारे साथ जुड़ा था, तब से लेकर आज तक 60 से भी ज्यादा वर्षों का यह सफर अपने आप में अनमैच्ड है, अपने आप में यह बेजोड़ है। मुझे लगता है कि हमारे कुछ वेटरन्स को छोड़ दें तो यहां मौजूद अधिकांश लोगों का उस समय जन्म भी नहीं हुआ होगा जब यह मशीन पहली बार इंडियन स्काईज में उड़ी थी। यही बात इसे और भी स्पेशल बनाती है। हम सबके लिए यह सिर्फ एक फाइटर जेट नहीं बल्कि एक फैमिली मेंबर जैसा है मेरे साथियों, जिसके साथ हमारा अटैचमेंट बहुत ही गहरा है। MiG-21 ने हमारे कॉन्फिडेंस को शेप किया है, हमारी स्ट्रेटजी को इसने मजबूत किया है और हमें ग्लोबल स्टेज पर स्थापित करने में हमारी मदद की है। अपनी इतनी लंबी जर्नी में इस फाइटर जेट ने हर चुनौती का सामना किया और हर बार इस फाइटर जेट ने अपनी काबिलियत भी साबित की है। साथियों, जब MiG-21 की बात होती है, अक्सर ये कहा जाता है कि भारतीय वायुसेना 60 साल पुराने विमान उड़ा रही थी। मैं इस अवसर पर एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण फैक्ट भी स्पष्ट कर देना चाहता हूं। 1960 और 1970 के दशक में जो MiG-21 विमान हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेज के पास आए थे, वह बहुत पहले ही सेवा से बाहर हो चुके हैं, और जो MiG-21 विमान आज तक हम उड़ा रहे थे, वे मैक्सिमम 40 ईयर्स यानी 40 वर्ष पुराने हैं। 40 साल की लाइफ टाइम ऐसे एयरक्राफ्ट के स्टैंडर्ड में बिल्कुल नॉर्मल है। कई देशों में ऐसे फाइटर जेट्स को इतने ही टाइम तक एक्टिव रखा जाता है, लेकिन MiG-21 की एक खास बात यह है कि इसे तकनीकी रूप से हमेशा अपडेट रखा गया है और हमारे एयरफोर्स के अधिकारियों और जवानों ने और मैकेनिस्ट ने इस काम को किया है। आज जो MiG-21 हम यहाँ देख रहे हैं, यह तो त्रिशूल, विक्रम, बादल और बिशन जैसे नामों से भी जाना गया है। इसका वर्तमान रूप तो अपडेटेड था। यहाँ मैं हिंदुस्तान एरोनॉटिक्स लिमिटेड की भी सराहना करना चाहता हूँ, जिसने अपने एडवांस राडार्स, एवियोनिक्स से MiG-21 को लगातार अपडेट करने में अपनी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका का निर्वाह किया है। साथियों, MiG-21 ने अपने बायर्स और अपने सेलर्स दोनों की अपेक्षाओं से कहीं बेहतर प्रदर्शन किया है। 1950 के दशक में जिस डिजाइन पर यह जेट बना था, वह उस समय की टेक्नोलॉजी के हिसाब से बेस्ट था। समय के साथ इसमें स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट सिस्टम जोड़े गए, बेहतर राडार सिस्टम भी जोड़ा गया। इसके अलावा भी इसमें अनेक एयर टू एयर मिसाइल्स भी जोड़ी गई, टारगेट मिसाइल्स जोड़ी गई, फ्री फॉल बम भी जोड़े गए। यही कारण है कि MiG-21 को इतने लंबे समय तक हमारी वायुसेना का भरोसा और सम्मान मिलता रहा है। इसलिए आज जब हम इसे विदाई दे रहे हैं, तो यह मोमेंट हमें यह याद दिला रहा है कि हमारी स्ट्रेंथ सिर्फ मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी में नहीं है, बल्कि उस लेगेसी में भी है जिसे हमने दशकों से बिल्ड किया है। उस लेगेसी को सेलिब्रेट करना और उसका सम्मान करना, बहनों भाइयों, मैं यह मानता हूं कि हम सभी की जिम्मेदारी है और उसी जिम्मेदारी का हम लोगों ने निर्वाह किया है। साथियों, एक दिलचस्प बात यह है, यह कार्यक्रम चंडीगढ़ में हो रहा है। यहीं से भारतीय वायुसेना की सुपरसोनिक यात्रा की शुरुआत हुई थी। नंबर 28 एक स्क्वाड्रन, जिसे फर्स्ट सुपरसोनिक्स कहा जाता है, नंबर 28 स्क्वाड्रन, जिसे फर्स्ट सुपरसोनिक्स कहा जाता है, यहीं से MiG-21 का इंडक्शन हुआ था। यह स्थान इसलिए भी खास है क्योंकि यह उस गौरवशाली अध्याय का गवाह है जिसने भारत की एयर पावर को एक नई पहचान दी थी। आप सबके समक्ष MiG-21 के बारे में विस्तार में बताने की मैं समझता हूं कोई जरूरत तो नहीं है। हाँ, यहाँ बैठे हुए आप सभी, चाहे एयर वॉरियर्स हों, वेटरन्स हों या फिर डिफेंस एक्सपर्ट हों, हम सब इसके परफॉर्मेंस से भली भांति परिचित हैं। लेकिन मेरी नज़र में इसका जो सबसे खास विशेषता रही है, वह है वर्सेटिलिटी। यह एक ऐसा फाइटर जेट रहा जिसने अपने लंबे ऑपरेशनल लाइफ में हर तरह के रोल इसने निभाए हैं। इसको बर्ड ऑफ ऑल सीजन्स ऐसे ही नहीं कहा जाता है। एक इंटरसेप्टर के तौर पर इसने दुश्मन को रोकने का काम किया है। ग्राउंड अटैक में इसने अपनी आक्रामक क्षमता भी दिखाई है, और एयर डिफेंस फाइटर जेट के रूप में इसने स्काईज को प्रोटेक्ट किया है। और सिर्फ इतना ही नहीं, इसने एक ट्रेनर एयरक्राफ्ट के तौर पर भी असंख्य एयर वॉरियर्स को भी तैयार किया है। कहने का मतलब यह है कि MiG-21 ने हर उड़ान के साथ भारत के भविष्य को और भी मजबूत किया है। साथियों, MiG-21 अगर इतने वर्षों तक भारत की सुरक्षा में अपना योगदान देता रहा है, तो इसके पीछे की ताकत इंडियन एयरफोर्स का हर पायलट, इंडियन एयरफोर्स का हर वॉरियर, जिसे हम एयर वॉरियर कहते हैं, और हर ग्राउंड क्रू ने दी है। MiG-21 के साथ उन्होंने अपना साहस और अपना समर्पण जोड़ा है, इसलिए उनका भी मैं अपनी तरफ से अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूं। साथियों, अगर आप 80 और 90 के दशक की तरफ नजर डालें तो आप देख पाएंगे कि MiG-21 सिर्फ एक फाइटर एयरक्राफ्ट ही नहीं, बल्कि हमारी इंडियन एयरफोर्स के लिए एक ट्रेनिंग ग्राउंड के रूप में भी कार्य कर रहा था। इस लीजेंडरी प्लेटफॉर्म पर खड़े होकर न जाने कितने जाबाज पायलट्स ने उड़ान भरी है। सीखा कि आसमान से कैसे बात करनी है, इसने ही हमको सिखाया है। कैसे हर परिस्थिति में अपनी मशीन को कंट्रोल करना है और कैसे मुश्किल हालात में भी शांत रहकर मिशन को अंजाम देना है। आज जो हमारे पास हाईली स्किल्ड फाइटर पायलट्स हैं, उनकी नींव कहीं न कहीं MiG-21 ने ही रखी है। यही वजह है कि भारत की सुरक्षा यात्रा में MiG-21 एक सारथी की तरह हमेशा हमारे साथ खड़ा रहा है। साथियों, आज जब हम उसे फेयरवेल दे रहे हैं तो यह भरोसा भी ले रहे हैं कि आने वाले कल में हमारी नई पीढ़ी इसी स्पिरिट के साथ डिफेंस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और एयर पावर को और ऊंचाइयों पर ले जाएगी। मुझे विश्वास है कि आने वाले समय में जब दुनिया भारत को देखेगी तो कहेगी, यह तो वो देश है जिसने MiG-21 से शुरुआत की और आज फ्यूचर टेक्नोलॉजी में दुनिया का लीडर है। यही हमारी जर्नी है और यही हमारी प्राइड है। और मैं देश का रक्षा मंत्री होने के नाते नहीं, बल्कि एक भारतीय होने के नाते कहता हूं कि इस लिगेसी को हमें टूटने नहीं देना है किसी भी सूरत में। MiG-21 का योगदान सिर्फ इतिहास नहीं है, वह सीख है, वह DNA है जो हमें आगे बढ़ाएगा। हमें LCA तेजस की सफलता को अपनी नेक्स्ट मिशन की शुरुआत माननी है और आने वाले फाइटर एयरक्राफ्ट, एडवांस मीडियम कम्बैट एयरक्राफ्ट, MCAS और अन्य प्रोग्राम्स में यह आत्मविश्वास भरने की जरूरत है कि भारत हर चुनौती का मुकाबला कर सकता है और हर चुनौती पर भारत विजय प्राप्त कर सकता है। आज हमारे डिफेंस इकोसिस्टम में रिमार्केबल बदलाव हो रहा है। हमारी रिसर्च लैब्स, एकेडमिया, डिफेंस PSUs, प्राइवेट सेक्टर और हमारे यूथ, हमारे स्टार्टअप, हमारे साइंटिस्ट, यह सब मिलकर बदलाव की इस गाड़ी को तेजी से आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं। साथियों, आज का दिन हमें यह भी याद दिलाता है कि हमें अतीत को तो सम्मान देना ही है, साथ ही साथ भविष्य की ओर कदम भी हमको बढ़ाते रहना है। पुराने साधन भले ही आज सेवा के बाहर हो जाएं, लेकिन हमें ध्यान रखना है कि उनकी लेगेसी हमेशा प्रेरित करती रहे। MiG-21 ने हमें यह सिखाया है कि बदलाव से घबराना नहीं है, बल्कि उससे नई ऊर्जा लेकर हम सभी को आगे बढ़ना है। हम तो इस भाव को लेकर चलने वाले लोग हैं कि तंत्र है नूतन भले ही। हम इस भाव को लेकर आगे बढ़ने वाले हैं कि तंत्र है नूतन भले ही, चिर पुरातन साधना, यानी हमारे पूर्वजों ने हमें यह दर्शन दिया कि साधना यानी मूल भावना और आदर्श ये शाश्वत होते हैं, मिटते नहीं हैं, ये कभी समाप्त नहीं होते हैं। उन्हें प्रकट करने के लिए जो साधन यानी तंत्र और उपकरण हैं, यह सब तो समय के साथ बदलते रहते हैं। जैसे इसे आप इस तरह से समझिए कि हमारे सैनिकों का साहस, हमारे सैनिकों का अनुशासन और उनकी राष्ट्र भक्ति चिर पुरातन साधना है, लेकिन उन्हें व्यक्त करने के लिए जिन हथियारों, जेट्स और टेक्नोलॉजी की आवश्यकता होती है, वे एक नूतन तंत्र हैं और लगातार अपडेटेड होता रहा MiG-21 इसी दर्शन का, इसी फिलॉसफी का एक जीवंत उदाहरण है। अंत में मैं उन सभी पायलट्स, टेक्नीशियंस, ग्राउंड स्टाफ और इससे जुड़े एशियल के समस्त इंजीनियर्स और अन्य स्टाफ को भी हृदय से नमन करता हूं, जिनकी मेहनत, समर्पण और साहस ने MiG-21 को भारतीय वायुसेना की आत्मा का हिस्सा बनाया है। हमारे पायलट्स ने अपने प्राणों की परवाह किए बिना आसमान में हमारी सीमाओं की रक्षा की और टेक्नीशियंस और ग्राउंड स्टाफ ने अपने पसीने और कौशल से यह सुनिश्चित किया कि हमारे विमान हर बार पूर्ण शक्ति के साथ उड़ान भर सके। आज जब हम इस गौरवशाली अध्याय को विदा कर रहे हैं तो यह उन अनगिनत नायकों को भी स्मरण करने का क्षण है जिनके त्याग ने इस मशीन को एक जीवंत विरासत बना दिया है। उनका योगदान हमेशा हमारी राष्ट्रीय स्मृतियों में सदैव अमर रहेगा। साथियों, अंत में मैं बस इतना ही कहना चाहता हूं कि MiG-21 जिस तरह दशकों तक हमारी सिक्योरिटी का पिलर बना रहा, वो हम सब के लिए एक गर्व का विषय है। मुझे खुशी है कि मैं एक भारतीय नागरिक के रूप में भी इस पल को आप सबके साथ बांट रहा हूं। साथ ही हमें आज यह प्रण भी लेना होगा कि आने वाले कल में हमारी वायुसेना की उड़ान और ऊंची होगी और भारत की आकाश रक्षा और अभेद्य होगी। इसी प्रण के साथ MiG-21 को विदाई देते हुए और उसके प्रति हृदय से श्रद्धा और कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करते हुए यहीं पर मैं अपनी बात समाप्त करता हूं। एक बार बोलिए भारत माता की। और तेज आवाज आनी चाहिए। भारत माता की। और तेज भारत माता की। धन्यवाद।
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh there honoring the MiG-21 in his speech, calling it the bird of all seasons, calling it the pride of the nation, speaking about the conflicts that it's been a part of, the wars it's won for India, and how it's an integral part of the Indian Air Force family. Vishnu Som also joining us live. He is at the Chandigarh Air Base and he has witnessed history in the making there. Vishnu, we just had the Defence Minister speaking, calling MiG a family member, talking about how 850 of the MiGs have been procured by India.
Well, it is an incredible day for the Indian Air Force, and the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh spoke about the legacy of the MiG-21, the fact that it's a member of a family or member of the Indian Air Force family. It's the last time that we've seen the MiG-21 in squadron service with the IAF. The Air Force Chief was over here. He was one of the pilots who flew that last sortie. We should get a chance, in fact, to speak to many of the veterans, and they've all actually been coming up to us to get an idea of what their experiences have been all about. But it's the end of a chapter. It's something that we need to accept. It's time for the Indian Air Force to move on. It's critical for the Indian Air Force to actually get many more new aircraft, new generation aircraft, and this is where I think the Indian Air Force is headed.
You know, Vishnu, you spoke about how this is a nostalgic moment for the Indian Air Force, but it is also for journalists like you. I was reading your article this morning, Vishnu, if you can hear me, and how beautifully in your article you've said the MiG will make its last flight today, tipping its wings in a somber yet joyful salute to generations of pilots it trained and with whom it fell into deadly dogfights. What a moment it's been for you as well. Take us through your journey covering the MiG.
Well, look, I think more than my journey, and I appreciate that question, in tracking the MiG-21 for 30 odd years along with so many other aircraft, it's actually this site which means so much. These are family members, and I think it is. Let's just walk if we can, and we're going to walk and we're going to try and see if we can get any of these family members who are all making their way to the MiG-21. So we're going to walk in the direction of the MiG-21, and we're going to try and see if what it is that we can actually do. So they've opened up this particular area to the MiG-21. I'm just going to walk over here and try and see if we can speak to some of the old veterans, or if the pilots are still over here and they're willing to speak. But this is the MiG-21 Bison that you see over here. It's a real mela that's taking place in a sense. All of these people are special invitees. They've been called by the Indian Air Force, given their involvement with the IAF, with this particular aircraft, something that they've served in for a very long period of time. Hi, sir. Vishnu. Good to see you. How have you been? Sir, you've flown on the MiG-21 yourself. Sir, why don't you tell us what does this day mean for you?
Oh.
Come over here, sir.
I'm not a pressed man, but yes, it's nostalgic.
Come, face the camera. Yeah.
Service, have 2,500 hours of flying on that. Then for the first time we engaged night attack on enemy airfield.
That was in 71.
71. Yeah.
Which sector were you deployed in?
Here?
You were deployed in the west.
Yes.
And so you used the MiG-21 in the air defense mission in 71 or ground attack?
Both.
What was your most memorable mission?
Night strike.
Tell me about what did you hit?
Their airfields.
Which one, sir? Do you remember?
Yes. Not all, but I'll tell you. Shorecourt, Risalwala, Sargoda, and there's one more which I name Chaklala.
So a lot of these airfields are now coming up in Op Sindoor because it's for the first time since he struck some of these air bases way back in 1971 that in the month of May 2025 the Indian Air Force struck them again. I'm honored, sir, and for the benefit of our viewers, if you can just identify yourself, let them know who you are.
I'm Air Marshal Nadkarni, retired from the Air Force in 95.
Air Marshal, it's been wonderful speaking to you. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much. We're going to keep walking over here and speak to a few others as well and see if we can actually... Hi, sir. How are you? Vishnu, good to see you. How have you been? Sir, why don't you give me your name and tell me about what this day meant for you?
It is a very, very emotional day.
And
because
your name, sir, for the benefit of our viewers?
I'm Group Captain Ranjit Singh Tadgur, retired in 97. And
how many hours have you flown on this?
750.
750 hours.
Yeah.
Let's move to this so we can get a better look at the aircraft. You come with me, sir. Yes. Yeah. Come, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. You ask questions.
No. So what was your most memorable mission?
Every mission is a memorable. Only thing, there are too many of them, can't remember, I can't really distinguish. Every day, every mission was enjoyable.
When did you have your first mission on a MiG-21?
Pune.
No, when? Which year?
Okay, 83.
1983. And you've flown various variants of the MiG-21?
Yeah. I have flown only Type 75, that is this.
This is the Bison, sir, so it is the variant before that.
Before that. Yeah.
Wonderful speaking to you. Thanks very much. We're going to keep on talking over here. Hi.
We worked in before this North Bison.
Right. Come. We're going to just move on and take a look at the aircraft. We've got a great look at the profile of the jet itself over here. And the MiG-21 is incredible because the air inlet is on the sides of this particular area. The airflow is a super critical sort of aspect of flying on the MiG-21. We're going to try and see that. Why don't you come forward, sir? Hi, how have you been?
Wing Commander Panikar.
Wing Commander, good to see you. Wing Commander, you've flown how many hours in the MiG?
I've flown almost 1,500 hours on the BIS, not on the Bison.
On the Bison. For the benefit of our viewers, the inlet is super critical. Tell us why the design of this is so unique. Why has it been designed in this way?
Okay. Basically, this is the nose cone, and it also houses the airborne radar. And the amount of air which goes in, if you can visualize it, the amount of air that goes in is controlled by the position of the cone.
Yeah.
The cone goes in and out, and it controls how much of air will be going in into the compressor, and thereafterwards into the combustion chamber, and thereafterwards to get ignited into the engine itself. The unique thing about the fighter aircraft is that it's got afterburning.
I'm interrupting you for half a second because we've got Air Marshal Nadkarni who's actually taking a look at the cockpit of the MiG-21 Bison. It's very different from the cockpit that you've flown. It's a glass cockpit. What does it feel like to look inside, sir?
Quite a bit. I'm like a stranger. But it doesn't take long to get your hand in.
All right, well, there you have it. So many people, so many family members over here talking about the MiG-21 so fondly. We're going to keep looking at this remarkable aircraft. But for now, it's back to the studio.
Thank you for joining us live from the Chandigarh Air Base, speaking to those veterans who have such beautiful stories to narrate to Vishnu there. They've all been in that cockpit, but at various stages in the last 60 years, ever since it was commissioned into the Indian Air Force. We'll leave it at that, slip into a short break, but a huge tribute there from the Indian Air Force, from the Indian government, and from the country, of course, to MiG-21.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro, most stunning true color pro grade camera. Motorola Edge 60 Pro. Grab Motorola Edge 60 Pro today.
MiG-21 bows out after 6 decades of being in service for the Indian Air Force. Rajnath Singh, the Defence Minister, honours it with a speech right at the end of that show. Molester Godwin's case in court today as the predator seeks anticipatory bail. Police reports say they need custodial interrogation of the man on your screen. Delhi High Court asks former NCV officer Sameer Wankade to file a fresh petition, matter to be relisted. Wankade had filed a defamation suit against Shah Rukh Khan's son over his portrayal in Bads of Bollywood. BJP and Congress woo women voters in Bihar. Prime Minister Modi to launch job scheme for women. Congress MP Priyanka Gandhi to address a women's conclave in Patna.
सैल्यूट है जी, आप देश की रक्षा में जान लगा देते हैं और आप घर घर में तार लगाते हैं जी। ई बीम टेक्नोलॉजी से बनी, न जले न पिघले, सबकी रक्षा करे।
हम सरहद पर लोगों की रक्षा करते हैं और आप देश के अंदर। सैल्यूट तो बनता है जी।
अपार अणुशक्ति फायर प्रोटेक्ट वायर, अपार देश का तार।
NDTV Good Times is something that we're supremely excited about.
We just don't want to do live entertainment. We want to create experience for you.
And NDTV Good Times is one of the most marquee and iconic ideas that NDTV came up with.
मेरा जो रिश्ता है एनडीटीवी के साथ वो बहुत बहुत पुराना है।
AR रहमान।
सोनू निगम के लिए जोरदार तालियां।
This is the Zorawar, India's very own light tank. Built for a very specific requirement, to defend our forces and attack when necessary in high altitude areas. Conceived of in the post-Galwan context and in direct response to the emergence of the Chinese Type 15 light tank, the Zorawar is meant to plug holes in India's armoured defences. At the moment, India uses heavy tanks, the T-90 and T-72, way up in the Ladakh heights. These are far too heavy and unwieldy for operations in the rarefied atmosphere. And so, Zorawar was designed and developed in 21 months straight. Weighing in at 25 tons, close to half the weight of the older tanks, the Zorawar can be easily airlifted and is built with the future in mind. Upgradability. Designed to operate with drones, it will also feature an active protection system, a system which intercepts incoming missiles and rockets to protect the tank. But these upgrades will come later. At the moment, the Army appears committed to the tank, which is being trialled not just in high altitude areas, but also the desert. The Zorawar weighs 25 tons. It has a power-to-weight ratio of 30 horsepower per ton. That's key in the mountains. It has a 1,000 horsepower engine. It's amphibious. It can ford rivers and lakes. It can fire missiles, has a 105mm main gun, a 12.7mm remote-controlled weapon station, and a 7.62mm coaxial machine gun. In trials in September last year at the Mahajan firing range near Bikaner, the Zorawar hit its targets with pinpoint accuracy, using its Belgian-designed gun, proving its lethality. Zorawar's development is a triumph of collaboration and indigenization. led by the Defence Research and Development Organisation and Larsen & Toubro, with contributions from micro, small.
In a dramatic courtroom clash, Delhi High Court has dismissed ex-NCB officer Sameer Wankade's defamation plea against Aryan Khan's Netflix series, asking Sameer Wankade to refile it. Nupur now joins me live. Nupur, take us through what happened in court today. This seems to be a minor setback for Sameer Wankade at this point.
Well, absolutely, Vedika. First of all, the High Court was of the opinion that what is the jurisdiction of the case in Delhi? Because a series has been made in Mumbai and everything is in Mumbai. How is it under Delhi's jurisdiction? It was the first question asked to Sameer Wankade. And Delhi High Court went on. However, Sameer Wankade's lawyer, Sandeep Sethi, said that he has been defamed because of the content in Delhi as well, and especially in Delhi. And however, he prayed that the Delhi High Court should be hearing the defamation case and grant an injunction against the series. But the Delhi High Court said that in this manner, the way the petition has been framed today, they cannot entertain his petition. And if he wants to move a fresh petition, he will have to make some amendments, change some amendments he has made in the petition and file afresh. Then the High Court will give them a fresh listing date. So as of now, there is no fixed date for Sameer Wankade in Delhi High Court for the hearing. And it is a setback indeed from the High Court to Wankade.
All right, Nupur, thanks for joining us live there. That's the news coming out of the Delhi High Court at this point. Nupur, of course, tracking all developments on that controversy. Thanks for joining us. Slipping to short break, we will be back with more news and updates in moments from now at Breaking Ground at 1 with me, Vedika. Stay tuned.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro, most stunning true color pro grade camera. Motorola Edge 60 Pro. Grab Motorola Edge 60 Pro today.
The world's defining stage. Leaders, visionaries, decision makers, confronting the challenges of our time.
हमारा प्रयास होगा भारत की सेंचुरी सिर्फ भारत की नहीं बल्कि पूरी मानवता की जीत की सेंचुरी बने।
NDTV World Summit 2025, Edge of the Unknown, 17th to 18th October, only on NDTV.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I
hold
CDSL for the long term? Buy, sell or hold.
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live, ask, decide and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit.
Pulling us into this country.
They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. Stop. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no fog. Only the facts and where they lead. Every night at 9, the case closes because the buck stops here.
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती तो एनडीटीवी सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है।
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं, उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं द बेस्ट ऐप टू यूज इज द एनडीटीवी ऐप।
ब्रेकिंग न्यूज का जमाना है, सबको तिल का ताड़ और राई का पहाड़ बनाना है। ऐसे में जनता के जूते के अंदर फंसा कंकड़ कौन देखे? बड़े बड़े मुद्दों के शोर में जमीन से जुड़े मुद्दे अक्सर खो जाते हैं। लेकिन देश तरक्की तब करता है जब जनता के माथे की शिकन हमारी हेडलाइंस बनती है। मैं सैयद सुहेल भारत को जीता हूं, भारत की बात बताता हूं। एनडीटीवी इंडिया पर।
What we witnessed was complete synergy.
Army bakes up the genes in you to take on challenges, be it the battlefield or in any facet of life.
When we are using drones as a weapon, it's going to be used against us as a weapon as well.
The biggest threat is EW. Like we are using our EW to counter adversaries.
Ladies out there, please come and join the Indian Armed Forces.
Across the country.
He has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. And now, Aditya Rajkol begins a new chapter at NDTV.
Actually, I'm taking off because the stories I cover don't sit still. To bring the world to India and to take India to the world, I need to be where action is.
Aditya Rajkol, covering international affairs like no one else, only on NDTV network.
Well, we're on an incredible piece of Indian engineering. Shiv and I are absolutely privileged to be here with Larsen & Toubro in Hazira near Surat. This is a tank. It's called the Zorawar. It takes the battle to the Chinese in altitude.
हेलो बोलिए मैडम, डब्बा ट्रेडिंग कब से चल रहा है पता है मैडम आपको? हम और आप तो जन्म भी नहीं हुआ था हमारा।
We investigated a shady advisory firm that has spent big bucks on advertising on the front pages of national dailies.
ये आपको बिल्कुल उसका ऐसे हल्का सा भी खौफ नहीं है?
मैडम एक बात में खौफ की
Welcome back. You're watching Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood. A quick check on the headlines at the top of 1 p.m.
हर बार MiG-21 ने तिरंगे का सम्मान बढ़ाया है, इसलिए यह फेयरवेल हमारी कलेक्टिव मेमोरीज का भी है और हमारे नेशनल प्राइड का भी है।
MiG-21 bows out in style. Final flight led by Air Chief Marshal AP Singh. Rajnath Singh, Defence Minister, hails MiG-21, calls it a major training ground for the Indian Air Force. Melissa Godman's case was in court today. The predator was seeking anticipatory bail, but the police opposed it, saying they need custodial interrogation to unravel the web in both fraud and molestation cases against the accused Swami. Delhi High Court asked former NCB officer Sameer Wankate to file a fresh petition, matter to be relisted. Wankate had filed a defamation suit against Shah Rukh Khan's son Aryan Khan's movie over the portrayal of him in Bads of Bollywood. BJP and Congress woo women voters in Bihar. Prime Minister Modi launches job scheme for women. Congress MP Priyanka Gandhi to address a women's conclave in Patna. Double nomination for Diljit Dosanjh starrer Chamkila. Director Imtiaz Ali expresses his joy on NDTV. And the face-off between the BJP and the Trinamool Congress in the state of West Bengal continues. The BJP has filed a complaint with Kolkata police for allegedly removing banners of the party leaders around Kalighat Mandir area ahead of the visit of Home Minister Amit Shah. Listen in.
मैं आज इस भव्य पंडाल में अभी मां की पूजा कर आया हूं। मैंने मां के सामने प्रार्थना की है कि इस चुनाव के बाद बंगाल में एक ऐसी सरकार बने जो सोनार बांग्ला का निर्माण कर पाए। हमारा बंगाल फिर से सुरक्षित, समृद्ध, शांत, सुजलाम सुफलाम बने।
All right, so two developments, Ritik, and we're going to come to you now live on this. One is Amit Shah saying that he is praying to God while inaugurating that Pujo Pandal, that there's a new government that is formed next year in the state of West Bengal. So a direct jibe there at Mamata Banerjee. Also, you have the BJP upping the ante because they're saying a lot of posters were taken off while Amit Shah was in Kolkata for that inauguration. Take us through what you know.
Well, what we do understand today, Amit Shah sets the tune for upcoming Bengal election, reiterating his, Shonar Bangla jive, what I could, remember, which he made earlier during 2021 Bengal Assembly election. This time again, Amit Shah sets the tune, said that BJP, in order to bring Bengal as, Shonar Bangla in a true sense, once a new government will be formed, then the shanti, the peace, and this kind of lawless, law and order could be, come back in Bengal. So that kind of statement that is coming from Amit Shah. Remember, he was today inaugurating Bengal's Durga Puja. He participated in multiple Durga Puja inauguration, and that sets the tune for upcoming elections. We know that a lot of politics are happening. BJP is alleging TMC-led government and its police for removing posters from in front of Kalighat Temple. Amit Shah also visited Kalighat Temple. Currently, he is inaugurating, participating in a program in Salt Lake as well. What we do understand, yes, BJP chose this event, or Amit Shah's visit can be, considered as its outreach program to the Bengali community during this Durga Puja, which is the biggest festival in Bengal and which has begun, which was earlier marred, but due to this torrential rain. We do understand our next year election is coming ahead, and Amit Shah's this Shonar Bangla jibe can be considered once again that the narrative, it sets the narrative for upcoming election. Though we are yet to get a reaction from the Trinamool Congress, we believe that in some moments from now we would get reaction from the Trinamool Congress party. They are scheduled to address a press conference this afternoon at their headquarters here in Kolkata. Back to you.
Thank you for joining us on that breaking story. We're moving on now to a story from the national capital. More chilling details in Delhi's molester Baba case. The Patiala House Court has reserved the order in this case. The accused Baba has sought for anticipatory bail to be granted to him in both the case of fraud as well as the case of molestations. The police has objected to the bail. Objecting to the bail, the Delhi police revealed in court that the UN license plates used by the molester self-styled Godman were indeed fake and that he was trying to flee with 60 lakh rupees. But now what's also come to light is another case of molestation, and this goes back to 2016. There was a case, an FIR registered back then in 2016, where one of the students back then, a 20-year-old's FIR, we're getting you excerpts from there, had said that this self-styled Godman would call me to his office and harass me. He would call me words that were derogatory, of course, and lewd, some of them being baby and sweet girl, quote unquote. He would also send me obscene messages, is what she has said in that FIR. And then she goes on to say that he tried to touch me inappropriately as well. He wanted to take me to Dubai, and he also pressurized, she was also pressurized by the self-styled Godman staff. The Baba also confiscated her phone and forced her to live alone, is what she says. Now remember, these are all excerpts from that FIR that NDTV has accessed. And then it also goes on to say that there were cameras installed. He had, and this is a comment that you will see in that FIR which we have accessed, the Baba had a vulture-like eye on me. Then the FIR content also goes on to say that she was very scared. She ran away, left all her belongings in the hostel. Imagine, a hostel is supposed to be a safe space for these girls, but in this case, it turned out that the protectors of the hostel turned out to be predators. Nupur joining me. Nupur, these are some very, very shocking facts coming out of that FIR, but we also had the hearing today in court where the self-styled Godman, his anticipatory bail plea was being heard. We believe that the order on that has been reserved. Just take us through what happened in court today, because we believe that the police was absolutely clear that he should not get anticipatory bail.
Well, yes, remember there are multiple cases which involve even a fraud case against the Baba, which is linked to this trust which he was a part of in the ashram. Now, today he moved the Delhi court, Patiala House Court, seeking anticipatory bail, saying that he should not be taken into custody. And his lawyer today made this argument that this entire case of fraud and other FIRs that are being lodged against him is a conspiracy by others who are part of the trust. He named one person called Murli. He said he is the person behind all this, and he has claimed that he is being falsely framed and being targeted by members of trust. But Delhi police, on the other hand, had very serious charges about him. The Delhi police claimed that he has 2 passports and 2 PAN cards, and after the FIRs were registered against him this month, he has withdrawn nearly 60 lakh rupees from his bank accounts and shifted to other bank accounts. So several claims were made today by the court, and Delhi police has vehemently opposed any anticipatory bail in any of the case to be granted to him, because they have pressed that they would need his custody to interrogate him. Delhi court is likely to pronounce the order at 4 p.m. today, and it will be important to see that what the court decides.
Important hearing at 4 p.m. Nupur will be on top of that story for you. But right now, I have the survivor's friend joining me live. We will not be taking his name because, of course, of safety reasons here. This case is also in court in terms of anticipatory bail being filed by the self-styled Godman. I was taking you through that FIR back in 2016. The friend is on your screen, and we're going to ask him some questions about what his friend went through. Thank you for joining us at NDTV 24/7. We read through some of those very disturbing details that are part of the 2016 FIR. Can you tell us what your friend went through back then?
So, hi, good morning. So, 2016 में जब ये केस FIR दर्ज हुआ था, ये FIR दर्ज हुआ काफ़ी लेट. सो उसके पहले उस फीमेल जो स्टूडेंट थी उसको काफ़ी सारी चीज़ों से गुजरना पड़ा. So Swami used to do one thing in the new batch. He used to pick 1 or 2 girls, and after that there are some staff, college staff, narration, and उसके बाद लोगों को बुलाया जाता था, बोला जाता था आपको बहुत सारी फैसिलिटीज दी जाएंगी, आपको आपका कैरियर सेटल डाउन हो जाएगा, आपको फॉरेन कंट्रीज में विजिट होगी, आपको इंटर्नशिप के लिए बाहर भेजा जाएगा, आपको अदर सर्विसेज भी अच्छी मिलेंगी, आपके मार्क्स अच्छे होंगे. और ये सारी चीज़ों को लेके लड़कियों को जब बताया जाता तो फर्स्ट टाइम अगर कोई भी लड़का या लड़की सुनेगा इस चीज़ों को तो सोचेगा मेरा कैरियर की बात है, तो मैं कैरियर को बनाना चाहती हूँ. तो उसके बाद जब वो नेक्स्ट स्टेप उठाते थे, जब वो केबिन के पास या फिर जहाँ पे भी उनकी लोकेशन थी वहाँ पे भेजा जाता था, तो वहाँ पे पता कुछ और लगता था. उनसे बोला जाता था आपको यू हैव टू कंप्रोमाइज, अगर आप कंप्रोमाइज करते हैं तो आपका कैरियर सेटल डाउन हो जाएगा, आपकी जॉब अच्छी लग जाएगी, आपका प्लेसमेंट अच्छा हो जाएगा, आपको पैकेज अच्छा लगेगा. इस तरह की चीज़ों को लेके इनिशिएट किया जाता था शुरुआत में. उसके बाद धीरे धीरे उनके जो प्रोसेस था वो बढ़ता रहता था, उनको अप्रोच किया जाता था, जिसकी वजह से लड़कियों को बहुत ज़्यादा हैरेसमेंट होती थी. इवन उस लड़कियों को सुबह से लेकर शाम तक अपने केबिन के बाहर खड़े रखना, किसी से बात मत करने देना, किसी से अगर वो कोई बात करा तो उनके ऊपर कैमरा रखना कि अगर आप किसी से बात करो आप इनसे बात नहीं कर सकते हो, आप किसी से मिलने नहीं जा सकते हो, आप कॉलेज के बाहर नहीं जा सकते हो, अगर आपको जाना है तो आपको हमारी परमिशन के ही साथ जाना होगा। तो इस तरह की चीजें उन लड़कियों के साथ किया जाता था, जो कि बहुत ज्यादा अपने आप में शर्मनाक वाली बात होती थी, और किसी के लिए भी हो वो उसके अंदर ही अंदर घुटते रहते थे
जी।
सो उनके पास कोई ऑप्शंस नहीं होता था।
तो क्या हुआ था एफआईआर के साथ? 2016 में फाइल तो हुआ था एफआईआर, व्हाट हैपेंड आफ्टर दैट? डिड द पुलिस टेक एक्शन? डिड दिस गो टू कोर्ट? व्हाट हैपेंड?
सी एक्शन एफआईआर ऑफ कोर्स बसंतपुर थाने में एफआईआर दर्ज हुई थी। एफआईआर के बाद जो है आई थिंक चार्जशीट भी बनी थी, बट उसके बाद क्या हुआ कि कोई भी एक्शन नहीं लिया गया। उसके बाद उस फीमेल स्टूडेंट ने पटियाला कोर्ट में अपने बयान भी दिए थे, उस बयान में सारी चीजें डॉक्यूमेंटेड भी हैं, इवन मेडिकल भी आई थिंक सबमिट किया गया था, बट उधर से कोई भी पॉजिटिव रिस्पांस ना मिलने की वजह से 2.5 साल वो स्टूडेंट और उसके पेरेंट्स इस केस को लड़ते रहे, और उसके बाद भी कोई पॉजिटिव रिस्पांस नहीं मिला। देन उसके बाद वो वापस आ गए अपने होम टाउन या अपने गांव आ गए वापस, और उनके लिए डेली ट्रेवल करना या फिर डेली बसंतपुर जाना वो पॉसिबल नहीं था।
तो आप भी इस इंस्टीट्यूट के भाग रहे हैं, you've been a member of this institute. Is this the case of only one person back in 2016, or do you have other people, batchmates, girls who have come to you and said ये हमारे साथ भी हुआ है?
मैं बताना चाहूंगा कि ये पहली बार नहीं था, इससे पहले भी जो भी बैचेस थे उनमें भी हुआ है, बट काफी सारे लोगों ने केसेस को फाइल कराया। इवन अगर आप बसंतपुर थाने में जाएंगे तो इस अगेंस्ट में हैरेसमेंट के अगेंस्ट में स्वामी के ऊपर काफी सारे चार्जेस लगे हुए, काफी सारी एफआईआर्स हैं, बट पॉलिटिकल पावर होने के नाते, फाइनेंशियल पावर होने के नाते उन केसेस को इतना ज्यादा हाईलाइट नहीं किया गया, और शायद यूनिटी नहीं थी। अगर एक इंडिविजुअल स्टूडेंट जाता भी था तो वहां पे उन चीजों को दबा दिया जाता था, जिसकी वजह से वो सारी चीजें हाईलाइट नहीं हुई है। बट अभी क्या हो रहा है, यूनिटी बना के उस चीज को लेके आगे बढ़े हैं, जिसकी वजह से ये एक अहम मुद्दा आप कह लीजिए जो कि आज उभर के सामने आया है। इसकी वजह से उसकी सारी चीजें, जो और भी चीजें उन्होंने की हैं, वो सारी चीजें निकल के बाहर आ रही हैं।
तो ये जो एफआईआर है that we have also accessed from 2016, it says that the survivor, your friend in this case, has in that FIR also said that Baba would call me to his office and harass me. He called me baby and sweet girl. He sent me obscene messages. ये कितने देर के लिए चला है? Because of course she was being harassed, she was being threatened, she was being intimidated. बहुत दबाव में थे, और बहुत स्टाफ के लोग भी perhaps complicit थे इसमें।
इसमें ऑफ कोर्स स्टाफ के लोग इन्वॉल्व थे, और ये लड़की जो छात्रा है, स्टूडेंट्स की बात हो रही है, ये इसके साथ स्टार्टिंग से हो रहा है। जब से इसने कॉलेज ज्वाइन किया था उसके कुछ मंथ के बाद से ही इसके साथ हो रहा था, बट धीरे धीरे वो चीजें इतनी ज्यादा बढ़ गई, उसकी वजह से वो कॉलेज छोड़ के भागी भी है। वहां से भागने के बाद इनके स्टाफ ने, स्वामी के स्टाफ ने, ड्राइवर और कुछ और गार्ड्स वगैरह, उनके जो रिलेटिव का एड्रेस था वहां पे विजिट किया रातों रात। उसके बाद जो होम टाउन था वहां पे भी रातों रात अपने बंदों को भेजा है सो दैट उनको पकड़ा जाए। उसके बाद भी उनका और भी कहीं पे गांव था, गांव में जाके वो सेटल डाउन है, उसकी वजह से वो पकड़ नहीं पाए। उसके बाद फिर ये सब चीजें होने के बावजूद दोबारा फिर वो लड़की कॉलेज आई है, अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ आई है, उनको एश्योरिटी दी गई कि नहीं अब दोबारा ऐसा कुछ नहीं होगा, ये प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी। देन उसके बाद फिर से वही सेम चीजें उसके साथ होनी शुरू हो गई। उसको ऑफिस, जैसे कॉलेज 6:30 बजे खत्म हो जाता था, ओवर हो जाता था, उसके बाद उस लड़की को कॉलेज के बाहर खड़ा रखना 11 बजे तक, 11:30 बजे तक, और कोई भी रीजन नहीं होता था, सिर्फ और सिर्फ हैरेसमेंट करने के लिए, सिर्फ और सिर्फ कंप्रोमाइज करने के लिए बोला जाना, उनको इस तरह से परेशान करना। तो एक फीमेल के लिए बहुत ही दर्दनाक चीज थी उस समय। वो जिस सिचुएशन से गुजरी वो सिर्फ वही बयां कर सकती है
जी। और what surprises me also here is the fact, sir, that the police didn't really play an important role that it should have, the crucial role of protecting that girl despite an FIR being registered. Am I wrong in saying that she wasn't protected?
ऑफ कोर्स वो प्रोटेक्टेड नहीं थी उस समय पे, शायद इसी वजह से उसको कॉलेज से भागना पड़ा या उसको दिल्ली छोड़ना पड़ा। उसने अपनी पढ़ाई भी पूरी नहीं की है, सो शायद वो इतना ज्यादा डरी हुई थी, और उस माहौल से उसके साथ कोई भी खड़ा नहीं था। सो एक ये बहुत बड़ी बात है एक फीमेल के लिए, इसकी वजह से उसको अपनी डिग्री भी छोड़नी पड़ी।
सो द क्वेश्चन आई वांट टू आस्क हियर इज दैट ये जो सेल्फ स्टाइल गॉडमैन है, उनको बाबा भी बुलाना, आई डोंट इवन वांट टू कॉल हिम अ बाबा हियर, बट दिस मैन दैट इज ऑन आवर स्क्रीन एज वेल, हु इज ऑन द रन, he's had cases against him from 2016, perhaps you're also indicating here before 2016, but is it usually with economically backward class societies, people coming from there, financially incapable of sustaining themselves? Would they be his primary targets and victims?
ऑफ कोर्स ये जो कॉलेज था वो एक मठ का कॉलेज था जहाँ पे बच्चों को फीस में वेव ऑफ मिलता था, जिसकी वजह से मोस्टली जो बच्चे आते भी हैं वो कोई हाई प्रोफाइल या मिडिल क्लास के लोग नहीं आते, तो वो लोअर मिडिल क्लास के लोग बच्चे आते थे पढ़ने के लिए, क्योंकि अपने मास्टर डिग्री कंप्लीट करनी होती थी। बट ये मॉन्क अपने आप को बोलते रहते थे, बट इनका मॉन्क जो एक होता है वो एक पेशेंस होता है, काम होता है, बट ये पेशेंस बिल्कुल भी नहीं थे। अगर आप इनकी कभी रिकॉर्डिंग या कभी कुछ आपको मिलता है, आप देखें कि बुरी तरीके से अपने स्टाफ को या अपने एम्प्लॉयज के ऊपर चिल्लाते थे, किसी को सैलरी ना देना, कॉलेज से निकाल देना विदाउट किसी रीजन के, और उसके बाद उनके पास तरह तरह के एलिगेशंस लगा देना स्टाफ पे। सो ऐसी भी चीजें करते थे।
Can you give us one incident or two of these disturbing incidents that your friend has shared with you while she was in college? How would he harass her? What has she told you?
तो मैं ओपन करके नहीं बता पाऊंगा, बट नॉर्मली होता क्या था कि कॉलेज के स्टार्टिंग में जब ज्वाइन किया उस लड़की ने, उसके बाद उसको टारगेट किया गया। टारगेट करने के बाद जो स्टाफ होता था वो स्टाफ स्वामी के बिहाफ पे जाके उनको अप्रोच करते थे कि आपके लिए एक बहुत बढ़िया सुनहरा अवसर है या मौका है, आपका कैरियर बन जाएगा, आपको मार्क्स चाहिए, आपका प्लेसमेंट हो जाएगा, आपको ना फ्यूचर की चिंता करने की जरूरत नहीं है। स्वामी जी के बहुत अच्छे कॉन्टेक्ट हैं, बहुत सारे इंडस्ट्रीज के साथ कॉन्टेक्ट है, या फिर कंपनीज के बड़े बड़े लोगों के साथ कॉन्टेक्ट है, वहां पे प्लेसमेंट हो जाएगा। तो ये सारे ऑप्शन देके उनको अप्रोच किया जाता था। उसके बाद जब लड़कियां जाते थे उनके पास, तो उनको इनडायरेक्टली वे में उनको बोलना कि आप मेरे लिए कंप्रोमाइज करो। If you do compromise, they will take care of and everything.
And if they wouldn't compromise, which of course in many cases we're hoping they didn't, that's when that cajoling would turn into intimidation, threats.
Please pardon?
My question is, अगर वो दबाव में नहीं आना चाहते थे तो उसके बाद वो थ्रेटन करना शुरू कर देते थे स्टूडेंट्स को?
ऑफ कोर्स थ्रेटन, देखिए मैंने बताया ना, अगर थ्रेटन एक तरह से यही है ना कि अगर आप एक स्टूडेंट को या दो स्टूडेंट को, जो भी आपके टारगेट स्टूडेंट है, अगर उनको आप सुबह से लेकर शाम तक ही आप क्लास भी अटेंड ना करने देना, उनको सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपने केबिन के बाहर या अपने ऑफिस के बाहर खड़ा रखना विदाउट एनी रीजन, सो ये एक है। आप मैसेज करना, उनका पर्सनल नंबर लेके, या फिर आप उनका फोन डिपॉजिट कर लेना अपने पास, अपना खुद का फोन देना, और जिसका एक्सेस भी सारा कुछ, कैमरे का एक्सेस आपके पास है, सो उनके पास कोई भी राइट्स है ही नहीं।
And my last question,
बहुत सारी चीजों से गुजर
जी, my last question,
please pardon.
Are you in touch with your friend? Now this case has come up again, it's resurfaced. Has she spoken to you recently? What does she feel? Is she feeling in a way that she's vindicated? कि उसे खुशी हो रही है कि और लोग आए हैं, more girls have come out and spoken against him, and this is, you know, in the headlines at this point. This man on our screen is on the run. What is she telling you at this point if you've spoken to her?
तो मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा, मेरी अभी लास्ट 2 दिन से मेरी कंटिन्यूस बात हो रही है और शी इज हैप्पी। सो जो 2.5 साल जिसने अपने कैरियर के या अपने जीवन के बर्बाद किए हैं इनके चक्कर में, कोर्ट के चक्कर में, पुलिस स्टेशन के चक्कर में, सो उनको लग रहा है कि जिन लोगों ने ये एक्शन लिया, जो 17 लड़कियों ने लिया, उनको थैंक यू बोल रही है कि उनकी वजह से कम ये चीजें उभर के आई हैं सामने। सो एक अच्छा मौका आया जहां पे वो अपने आप को थोड़ा सा सेफ और अच्छा फील कर रही है कि जो चीज मैं नहीं कर पाई, समझो वो 17 लड़कियों ने मिलके इस चीज को किया है। सो वो खुश है इस चीज को लेके, बट वो अपने आप को हाईलाइट नहीं करना चाहती हैं और अपनी लाइफ में भी सेटल डाउन है।
And my last question, I promise you this will be my last. Is the police in touch with your friend ever since 2016? Now that these cases have resurfaced, has the Vasant Kunj police been in touch with her?
So 3 days back, वसंत कुंज पुलिस स्टेशन हैज कॉल्ड हर फादर। उनके फादर को फोन किया है, आप बोला गया कि आप अपनी एसेट्स को, जो भी एसेट्स है हमारे पास, आप वो लेके जाइए, बट उनके फादर ने उस चीज को डिनाई कर दिया है और पुलिस की तरफ से फोन आ रहे हैं उनके पास।
All right, thank you so much for being brave enough to come on our channel. We of course are not disclosing your name, identity or your friend's identity, but this is very important, viewers, for us to know what really goes on in that institute. So many questions this really throws up at this point. That man on your screen, that self-styled Godman, is on the run. He has now filed for anticipatory bail. But if the first case, and we're just assuming 2016 being the first case, perhaps it was even earlier than that, there were more cases of sexual harassment. What was the management of this institute doing? There's been an FIR, and of course it's an FIR that the management could not know of. So why has the management let this man continue for years despite that case going to the Vasant Kunj police station. We leave it at that on this story, and we're going to move on to another one. This also to do with the Delhi High Court. The Wankhede versus Aryan Khan debate continues, and now there's a face-off that has escalated between the two parties, with Sameer Wankhede taking the issue to the Delhi High Court. But the Delhi High Court has junked Sameer Wankhede's defamation plea against Aryan Khan's Bads of Bollywood. The court held that the plea was not maintainable, asking Wankhede to amend it. The Delhi High Court asked Wankhede's lawyer to move application before the registry for relisting. The former NCB official had filed a defamation suit, if you remember yesterday, against the show, showing him and his image as maligned, according to him. Netflix has also been accused in Sameer Wankhede's plea for broadcasting a quote-unquote false, malicious and defamatory video from the Red Chillies entertainment team. Nupur now joins me live on that story. Nupur, what are we expecting in the coming days on this face-off? We're expecting that amendment also, as I mentioned. Take us through what happened in court and what to expect next.
Vedika, as you rightly pointed out, that the Delhi High Court at the outset, just at the beginning of the hearing, clarified that as the petition, the way the plea has been filed, first of all, it does not necessarily falls in the Delhi High Court's jurisdiction, as the series is made, in fact, in Mumbai, and asked Wankhede that why he has moved Delhi. However, Wankhede's lawyer maintained that he has been defamed in the series, and especially in Delhi, he gave this logic, and he pressed that his case be heard here in Delhi. Now, High Court, however, was of the opinion that as he has filed, the way in which he has filed, the way in which he has raised arguments, they are not maintainable in High Court, in the Delhi High Court, and has asked him to file a fresh petition with some amendments and come back to the court for a fresh listing. And for now, the court has refused to entertain the petition the way in it was filed by Wankhede today.
Nupur, thanks for joining us there. We, of course, will keep coming back to you for more on that story. Moving on to the big political story of the hour, the stage is set for battleground Bihar. In a bid to woo women voters, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has transferred 7,500 crore rupees as the first installment to 75 lakh women under the Mukhya Mantri Mahila Rozgar Yojana to help them start businesses of their choice. The scheme comes weeks after the NDA rolled out the Jivika Didi scheme. Bihar goes to polls in November 2025, and every party knows that elections are not won only in rallies and manifestos. They are won in kitchens, in whispered conversations among mothers and daughters, in the small dignity of not having to beg for money. Madhya Pradesh's Ladli Behna scheme, offering direct cash transfers to women, reshaped the electoral map in 2023. Maharashtra's Ladki Behan scheme too turned welfare into votes for the Mahayuti, lifting an embattled alliance into relevance. Can Bihar's NDA replicate that, is the question.
मुख्यमंत्री महिला रोजगार योजना शुरू की जा रही है। इस योजना से अब तक, जैसा मुझे बताया गया, 75 लाख बहनें जुड़ चुकी हैं। अभी एक साथ इन सभी 75 लाख बहनों के बैंक अकाउंट में 10-10 हजार रुपए भेजे गए हैं। केंद्र सरकार ने देश में 3 करोड़ लखपति दीदी बनाने का लक्ष्य रखा है। 2 करोड़ से अधिक बहनें अब तक लखपति दीदी बन चुकी हैं। और मैं गांव की महिलाओं की बात कर रहा हूं। उनकी मेहनत से गांव बदले हैं, समाज बदला है।
All right, we also have Priyanka Gandhi, who is in Bihar today. She has reached a Sadakat ashram in the state. Priyanka Gandhi has arrived to participate in a dialogue program with women. The Congress has named the Women's Dialogue as Shakti Adhikar program. Parties are engaging in dialogue with women to woo their vote bank. Earlier today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, like I said, had also launched Bihar's Mukhya Mantri Mahila Rozgar Yojana, transferring about 7,500 rupees each to the bank accounts of 75 lakh women. Of course, you can see the battle for Bihar heating up, with stakeholders from all parties making sure that they reach out to the people of Bihar, be it the women, be it the workers or the employers, or be it by inaugurating huge, massive infrastructural projects that have been in the pipeline. Priyanka Gandhi there on stage, and she will be addressing the people of that ashram in moments from now. But earlier in the day, you also had the Prime Minister going ahead and launching that scheme through which about 7,500 rupees is being given to 75 lakh women across the state of Bihar. Remember, the elections are in November this year. Asaduddin Owaisi has also entered the battlefield for Bihar. He has already said that he is open to an alliance with the Mahagathbandhan. The opposition alliance has branded Owaisi the B team of BJP. He has exclusively spoken to NDTV. Listen in.
कोई गठबंधन की बात किसी से हो रही है?
अब इतना जल्दी बहुत जल्दी हो जाएगा बोलना इस बारे में, मगर इतना तो हम बोल सकते हैं कि हमारे दरवाजे बंद नहीं हैं, मगर अब उस इंतज़ार में, उस फिराक में तो हम नहीं बैठ सकते, और हमको इलेक्शन की तैयारी पहले से शुरू हो चुकी है और अच्छी तरह से चल रही है।
मैंने इसलिए पूछा कि मैंने पिछले हफ्ते तेजस्वी यादव का इंटरव्यू किया था। मैंने उनसे पूछा था कि क्या कोई आपने कोई उनसे संपर्क किया है क्या, तो उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं, ना मुझे कोई फ़ोन आया ओवैसी साहब का, ना लालू जी को आया।
देखिए, बिहार प्रदेश के अध्यक्ष अख्तर उल इमान साहब हैं, उन्होंने लालू जी को ख़त लिखा, ख़त लिखकर कहा कि हमको ये दिख रहा है कि दोबारा बिहार में बीजेपी की सरकार ना बन जाए, एनडीए की, और हमको ये भी खदशा है कि बीजेपी अपना मुख्यमंत्री बना लेगी। तो उसको रोकने के लिए, बावजूद इसके कि आपकी पार्टी ने हमारे 4 एमएलएस को ख़रीदा, तोड़ा, हम बिहार के लार्जर इंटरेस्ट में सेकुलरिज्म को स्ट्रेंथन करने के लिए हम आपसे अलायंस करना चाहते हैं। फिर आपकी या किसी और के और जगह भी इंटरव्यू में तेजस्वी यादव ने कहा, तो हमने अख्तर उल इमान साहब कहा भाई इनको भी लिख दो। देखिए, उमूमन ये होता है कि अगर आप एक पार्टी के सुप्रीमो को, और लालू जी ने तो खुद इस पार्टी को बनाई, अब उनको लेटर लिखने के बाद अगर उनका बेटा बोलता है कि मुझे नहीं मिला, तो हम बोले ठीक है, उनको भी लिख दो। उसमें तो साफ क्लियरली लिख दिया अख्तर उल इमान साहब ने कि आप 6 सीट दीजिए, हम तो 5 पिछले बार जीते थे, अगर आपको सत्ता मिलती है तो कोई मंत्री मत बनाइए, सीमांचल डेवलपमेंट काउंसिल बनाइए और ये कम्युनलिज्म फैशिज्म से लड़ते रहिए। अब इससे बढ़ के और क्या कर सकते हम? इससे बढ़ के आपको तो दे चुके हैं सब चीज़। अब आप बोलते हैं ना अंग्रेजी में, द बॉल इज इन योर कोर्ट, आपकी पार्टी का फैसला करिए। मगर एक बात तो, एक पैगाम चला गया है पूरे देश में, बिहार में, सीमांचल में, हर घर में, कि कौन बीजेपी को रोकना चाहता है और कौन बीजेपी को लाना चाहता है बिहार में।
Joining me live is Prabhakar now on all these stories from the state of Bihar. Prabhakar, you have this outreach program both from the BJP. You've had the Prime Minister today launching a scheme as well and making sure that at least 7,500 rupees is in the accounts of more than 70 lakh women in the state of Bihar. You have Priyanka Gandhi also in the ashram there. So today is a day of outreach ahead of the Bihar elections from both the Congress as well as the BJP. Tell us more.
Exactly, the women actually are in the central stage of both these programs. So if you see the program launched by Prime Minister and Nitish Kumar jointly called Mukhyamantri Mahila Rozgar Yojana, 10,000 rupees has been credited into the account of around 75 lakh women beneficiaries, and this total number would further be scaled up to 1.5 crore rupees. So there will be a second installment given to another 75 lakh women. So before the Bihar goes into the poll mode, the total number of beneficiaries would be 1.5 crores. So that's a huge number, and it's seen as a master stroke by the BJP to woo the women voters. 1.5 crore households actually affected and benefited by it. 10,000 rupees directly credited into the account of the women folks over there. On the other hand, the Congress also is playing its own cards, and we have Priyanka Gandhi here in Patna today. She's also traveling to Motihari today, and basically the function which was held at Sadakat Ashram was a women outreach program where Priyanka Gandhi was interacting with women voters, and it is expected that Congress today would also be doling out many schemes and many promises to woo the women voters of Bihar.
Prabhakar, thanks for joining us there. We're going to be slipping to a short break. We'll return with the top international headlines and also a glimpse of the top controversies in the Asia Cup 2025. Stay tuned.
Rajasthan is history, culture and much more. And I have been reporting on all things royal for more than 25 years.
The colors, the culture and the complexities of the Northeast is different from the rest of the country. I have been bringing the Northeast closer to the capital for over 15 years.
Madhya Pradesh is the heart of India and I have been capturing its every beat for over 10 years, covering the corridors of power.
What is said, what is left unsaid, and what it actually means for you and me. I have it all covered.
Kashmir is often called paradise on earth, a region that has been in a state of flux from conflict to India's crowning glory. I have been reporting and decoding Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades.
Vanakkam Tamil Nadu.
Well, the battle for Tamil Nadu 2026 is open now.
After Chief Minister Stalin rolls up his sleeves and Vijay steps in as a star challenger.
This is a mass gathering, not for cash.
Meanwhile, a former Chief Minister, Edappadi Palanisamy, begins his fight back.
The big comeback campaign by EPS has well and truly begun.
These are all the ultimate players and this is going to be the ultimate test.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
NDTV Good Times is something that we're supremely excited about.
We just don't want to do live entertainment. We want to create experience for you.
NDTV Good Times is one of the most marquee and iconic ideas that NDTV came up with.
मेरा जो रिश्ता है एनडीटीवी के साथ वो बहुत बहुत पुराना है।
A.R. रहमान।
सोनू निगम के लिए जोरदार तालियां।
This is the Zorawar, India's very own light tank. Built for a very specific requirement to defend our forces and attack when necessary in high altitude areas. Conceived of in the post-Galwan context and in direct response to the emergence of the Chinese Type 15 light tank, the Zorawar is meant to plug holes in India's armored defenses. At the moment, India uses heavy tanks, the T-90 and T-72, way up in the Ladakh heights. These are far too heavy and unwieldy for operations in the rarefied atmosphere. And so, Zorawar was designed and developed in 21 months straight. Weighing in at 25 tons, close to half the weight of the older tanks, the Zorawar can be easily airlifted and is built with the future in mind. Upgradability. Designed to operate with drones, it'll also feature an active protection system, a system which intercepts incoming missiles and rockets to protect the tank. But these upgrades will come later. At the moment, the Army appears committed to the tank, which is being trialled not just in high altitude areas, but also the desert. The Zorawar weighs 25 tons. It has a power-to-weight ratio of 30 horsepower per ton. That's key in the mountains. It has a 1,000 horsepower engine. It's amphibious. It can ford rivers and lakes. It can fire missiles, has a 105mm main gun, a 12.7mm remote-controlled weapon station, and a 7.62mm coaxial machine gun. In trials in September last year at the Mahajan firing range near Bikaner, the Zorawar hit its targets with pinpoint accuracy using its Belgian-designed gun, proving its lethality. Zorawar's development is a triumph of collaboration and indigenization. Led by the Defence Research and Development Organisation and Larsen & Toubro, with contributions from micro, small and medium enterprises, the tank boasts over 70% indigenous content. From its hull to advanced systems, Indian industries have risen to the challenge, reducing reliance on foreign technology. Unlike the Arjun main battle tank, which faced delays and cost overruns because of an overemphasis on full indigenization, the Zorawar takes a pragmatic approach, incorporating foreign components like the Cummins engine and the Cockerell gun turret while pushing for local manufacturing. The Army may eventually end up operating 700 Zorawar tanks.
The world's defining stage. Leaders, visionaries, decision makers, confronting the challenges of our time.
हमारा प्रयास होगा भारत की सेंचुरी सिर्फ भारत की नहीं बल्कि पूरी मानवता की जीत की सेंचुरी बने।
NDTV World Summit 2025, Edge of the Unknown. 7
News just coming in. Bollywood actor Shilpa Shetty and husband Raj Kundra are facing scrutiny in a 60 crore rupee fraud probe involving their defunct teleshopping firm Best Deal TV. Mumbai Police's Economic Offences Wing, the AOW, has traced a 15 crore rupee transfer from Raj Kundra to Shetty's company, suspecting fund diversion beyond ad fee. Shetty's lawyer has slammed the reports as quote-unquote fake and mischievous, denying any receipt of funds. Paras Dama now joins me live. Paras, take us through this transfer that I was just talking about. Why is this going to put the couple into the dock further from where they already are in terms of this controversy?
Rightly said, this is a very important matter which is being investigated by the Enforcement Economic Offences Wing of Mumbai Police. In this entire matter, Raj Kundra was summoned a few days ago, and in this entire case, his statement was recorded. After that, there were one more summon which was sent to a person who was related with the company, and his statement has been also been registered in this entire matter. Now, there has been claims that the 15 crore rupees transaction was made to Shilpa Shetty, but in this entire matter, the official statement by Shilpa Shetty's lawyer has been in there, and in the statement it has been said that all the things are fake, and there were no transfer which was made by Raj Kundra to Shilpa Shetty of rupees 15 crore. So this is a matter of investigation right now. There were many documents which was asked by the EOW to Raj Kundra to send them and to give them the details about the financial transaction. This is a matter of investigation, and still in this entire case, EOW of Mumbai Police is investigating this matter very thoroughly.
All right, Paras, thanks for joining us there. We're now going to move away from domestic news and get you all that's making headlines across the world in our segment Worldview. And let's start with the headlines. US President Donald Trump has met Pakistan Prime Minister and Army Chief in Washington, D.C. on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. It's another Elon Musk versus Sam Altman battle, which has begun as XAI has accused OpenAI of stealing trade secrets. US President Donald Trump has announced a 100% tariff on imports of branded or patented pharmaceutical products from the 1st of next month. Our top story, US President Donald Trump met Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Army Chief Asim Munir in the Oval Office. The meeting took place at the Oval Office and in the backdrop of the US President's ceasefire claims. While the meeting was closed door, the talks were expected to cover a wide agenda, including bilateral relations, trade, regional security, and global challenges. The other big story of the hour, Khalistani terrorist Indrajit Singh Gosal has been released on bail within a week after his arrest in Canada. Right after walking out of prison, he and his close aide Gurpatwant Singh Panoon issued threats aimed at National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. Elon Musk's XAI has filed a major lawsuit against Sam Altman's OpenAI in federal court, alleging a strategic campaign to steal trade secrets and poach employees with insider knowledge of the Grok AI model and Coalesce's supercomputing clusters. The lawsuit claims that OpenAI was engaged in a quote-unquote deeply troubling pattern of hiring former XAI employees to gain access to the trade secrets of its AI chatbot Grok. It further said that Altman's company is pursuing unfair advantages in the race to develop AI technology. We still have to know what impact this following story is going to have on India, but US President Donald Trump has announced a 100% tariff on imports of branded or patented pharmaceutical products from the 1st of October, a move that could have major repercussions for key Indian drug makers. Starting the 1st of this coming October, they will be imposing a 100% tariff on any branded or patented pharmaceutical product unless a company is building their pharmaceutical manufacturing plant in the United States of America. Trump also slapped 50% duty on imports of kitchen cabinets and bathroom vanities, 30% on upholstered furniture, and 25% on heavy trucks. And it's time for a going viral segment. And today it is again on President Donald Trump, who unveiled a presidential wall of fame in the White House, showcasing black and white portraits of past presidents in golden frames. Notably, Joe Biden's frame features an auto pen reflecting Trump's mockery of Biden's use of the device, despite Trump admitting to using it for routine correspondence himself. All right, sports news now. The Asia Cup 2025 final may yet crown a champion, but the controversies have been the headlines really through all of the games. Here's a look.
Surya will spin the coin.
It started with something simple, no handshakes. In both group stage and the Super 4 clash, India's captain Surya Kumar Yadav refused to shake hands with Pakistan skipper Salman Ali Agha. Pakistan called it unsporting. The referee Andy Pycroft was accused of unclear instructions. What should have been routine became a political statement. Then came the gestures, Haris Rao flashing a 6 love sign, even mimicking a falling plane. Sahibzada Farhan adding fuel with a gun salute. India filed a complaint, Pakistan hit back. Now both players face an ICC disciplinary hearing. Sporting celebration or political provocation? That's the question the ICC must answer. After India's first win, Captain Surya Kumar Yadav dedicated the victory to victims of the Pahalgaon terror attack.
We stand by with the victims of the families of Pahalgaon terror attack, and we express our solidarity. And also, most important thing for me, we want to dedicate today's win to all our armed forces who showed a lot of bravery.
Pakistan immediately complained, Pakistan complained, calling it political messaging on a cricket field. The ICC has opened a code of conduct investigation. At one stage, the Asia Cup nearly collapsed. The PCB threatened to withdraw mid-tournament unless referee Andy Pycroft was removed. Pakistan even delayed their game against UAE by almost an hour. The ICC refused to bow. Pakistan eventually played, but the standoff showed just how fragile this tournament had become. India too had earlier debated pulling out over political tensions. When both threatened walkouts, cricket risks becoming collateral. And if the cricket wasn't fiery enough, social media turned up the heat. Fan chants of Kohli Kohli sparked Rauf's gestures. Indian players fired back. Within minutes, clips went viral. Hashtags trended and the spotlight shifted from scores to symbolism. In New Delhi, Rika Roy for NDTV.
From sports to entertainment now, Diljit Dosanjh has landed a major international milestone with his nomination for Best Performance by an Actor at the International Emmy Awards 2025. The recognition comes for his portrayal of the late Punjabi folk legend in Imtiaz Ali's Netflix drama Amar Singh Chamkila. Dosanjh's performance has been hailed for authentically capturing Chamkila's energy, vulnerability and charisma. Amar Singh Chamkila has also scored a nomination in the Best TV Movie Miniseries category. The winners, remember, will be declared at the 53rd International Emmy Awards Gala, scheduled to be held in November 24th in New York City. And that's where we should be watching out for some good news. Listen in to Imtiaz Ali's reaction.
Thanks to NDTV and to Abira specifically for bringing the happy news that Chamkila has been nominated for 2 International Emmy Awards, for Diljit Dosanjh Best Actor and for Chamkila Best Film. And a lot of messages have already come, a lot of people have congratulated me, so it means it's a really big deal. And I would like to congratulate the team of Chamkila, all those people of Punjab that contributed to this film, because it's very much a film of that land, and Diljit Dosanjh twice over.
As India bids farewell to the iconic MiG-21 fighter aircraft, here are some of the most defining images of MiG-21 from today. At a grand farewell ceremony in Chandigarh, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, top military leaders, veterans and families gathered to mark the end of the Soviet-era fighter jet's 62 years of distinguished service. Squadron leader Priya Sharma flew the fighter plane one last time. Squadron leader Sharma, India's 7th woman fighter pilot, as the aircraft fleet was decommissioned today. The last sortie of the squadron with the call sign Badal 3, yes, that's of Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh, also joined the Badal formation, flying the last sortie alongside squadron leader Priya Sharma. The farewell ceremony featured a spectacular flypast by MiG-21s, Jaguars and the Surya Kiran aerobatic team, with the iconic jets leading the Badal and Panther formations. And with that, it's a wrap on this show. Up next will be the Southern View with my colleagues. Stay tuned.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro, most stunning true color pro grade camera. Motorola Edge 60 Pro. Grab Motorola Edge 60 Pro today.
MiG-21 bars out in style. Final flight led by Air Chief Marshal AP Singh. Rajnath Singh hails MiG-21, calls it a major training ground for the Indian Air Force. Delhi High Court asks former NCB officer Sameer Wankade to file a fresh petition, matter to be relisted. Wankade had filed a defamation suit against Aryan Khan over his portrayal in Bads of Bollywood. BJP and Congress woo women voters in Bihar. Prime Minister Modi launched job scheme for women. Congress MP Priyanka Gandhi addresses a women's conclave in Patna. Double nomination for Diljit Dosanjh star Chamkila. Director Imtiaz Ali expresses his joy to NDTV.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I hold CDSL for the long term?
Buy, sell or hold.
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live, ask, decide and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit.
Pulling us into this country.
They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. Stop. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no fog. Only the facts and where they lead. Every night at 9, the case closes because the buck stops here.
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती तो एनडीटीवी सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है।
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं। उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं, the best app to use is the NDTV app.
ब्रेकिंग न्यूज का जमाना है। सबको तिल का ताड़ और राई का पहाड़ बनाना है। ऐसे में जनता के जूते के अंदर फंसा कंकड़ कौन देखे? बड़े बड़े मुद्दों के शोर में जमीन से जुड़े मुद्दे अक्सर खो जाते हैं। लेकिन देश तरक्की तब करता है जब जनता के माथे की शिकन हमारी हेडलाइंस बनती है। मैं सैयद सुहेल भारत को जीता हूं, भारत की बात बताता हूं। एनडीटीवी इंडिया पर।
What we witnessed was complete synergy.
Army bakes up the genes in you to take on challenges, be it the battlefield or in any facet of life.
When we are using drones as a weapon, it's going to be used against us as a weapon as well.
The biggest threat is EW. Like we are using our EW to counter adversaries.
Ladies out there, please come and join the Indian Armed Forces.
Across the country, he has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. And now, Aditya Rajkol begins a new chapter at NDTV.
Actually, I'm taking off because the stories I cover don't sit still. To bring the world to India and to take India to the world, I need to be where action is.
Aditya Rajkol, covering international affairs like no one else, only on NDTV network.
Well, we're on an incredible piece of Indian engineering. Shiv and I are absolutely privileged to be here with Larsen & Toubro in Hazira near
actually incredible that for a country that has fought so many wars in the mountains and at high altitude, a country didn't know until it had another war on its hands that it needed a tank like the Zorawar.
No, you're
and that's
quite
the
right.
kind of tank we're sitting.
हेलो बोलिए मैडम, डब्बा ट्रेडिंग कब से चल रहा है पता है मैडम आपको? हम और आप तो जन्म भी नहीं हुआ था हमारा।
We investigated a shady advisory firm that has spent big bucks on advertising on the front pages of national dailies.
ये आपको बिल्कुल उसका
Hello, a very good afternoon. I'm Uma Sudhir coming to you live from Hyderabad. I'm joined by my colleagues Sam Daniel from Chennai, Deepak Bopanna from Bengaluru and Ashwin Nandkumar from Thiruvananthapuram. Over the next half hour, we will be bringing you all the top news stories from the south of the country. First news from Andhra Pradesh. In the never-ending, action-packed political theatre of Andhra Pradesh, the latest controversy is actor and Hindupur MLA Balakrishna making certain very unsavory remarks about the former Chief Minister, referring to him as psycho. This is a controversy that has erupted between two big film personalities as well, Balakrishna on one side and Chiranjeevi on the other side. Both are big personalities in the film world. They belong to big film families as well as to prominent political families as well, because Balakrishna is not just Hindupur MLA, he is also the brother-in-law of Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, father-in-law of Nara Lokesh, and Chiranjeevi happens to be the brother of Pawan Kalyan, who is the Andhra Pradesh Deputy Chief Minister. So what happened in the assembly was that after a remark by Kamneni Srinivas, BJP MLA, that Chiranjeevi had intervened in order to bring attention to film industry problems in 2022 when Jagan Mohan Reddy was Chief Minister, Balakrishna got upset and said it is in fact not Chiranjeevi's intervention that had made it happen, undermining in a sense the role played by Chiranjeevi, and he called Jagan Mohan Reddy, the former Chief Minister, as a psycho, saying that I had also been invited to that particular meeting. He also raised objection to his name coming up 9th in that list of a film development corporation to raise or discuss issues related to the film industry. This has provoked reactions not just from the YSRCP but also from Chiranjeevi, who issued a statement saying that he had cordially met the former Chief Minister over lunch and had asked to discuss the issues of the film industry, and that 5 people were allowed initially, 10 people later because it was a COVID time, and he had even tried to contact Balakrishna, the actor, but he was not able to reach him, and subtly remarked that films of his own, Voltaire Veerayya as well as Veerasimha Reddy, had in fact benefited because of the ticket rates being hyped. YSRCP, on the other hand, has called this as trouble within the NDA, that there are differences between the TDP and the Janasena in this particular case, and they have asked for an apology from the TDP MLA Balakrishna for his remark calling Jagan Mohan Reddy as a psycho. I must point out that that is a word that was used for the former Chief Minister all through the campaign by NDA leaders like Jagan Mohan, Chandrababu Naidu, Nara Lokesh as well as Pawan Kalyan. Let's listen into what Balakrishna said inside the Andhra Pradesh Assembly, and also let's listen into the reaction of YSRCP spokesperson Karthik Yellappragada.
శాసనసభ్యులు కామినేని శ్రీనివాసరావు మాడుతూ అప్పుడు అందరూ ఇండస్ట్రీ కలవడానికి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు సైకో గారిని చిరంజీవి గారు గట్టిగా అడిగితే అప్పుడు ఈయన వచ్చాడంది అబద్ధం.
In the assembly, our state's highest platform of democracy, TDP MLA and actor Mr. Balakrishna stooped so low in calling former Chief Minister Mr. Y. Jagannath Reddy a psycho. Instead of speaking about jobs, farmers, or people's issues, Balakrishna turned the assembly into a movie set for a cheap theatrics and cheap dialogues. For years, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, Mr. Lokesh, Mr. Kalyan, and now Mr. Balakrishna has run this false propaganda claiming that Mr. Y. Jagannath Reddy insulted the film industry. That's not true.
Breaking news coming in from Tamil Nadu. Let's cut across to my colleague Sam Daniel. Sam, some bomb threat being reported. Tell us the details.
That's right, Uma. There's a bomb threat to the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court in Madurai in southern Tamil Nadu, after which the CISF in charge of security on the campus ordered complete evacuation. The court hearings were suspended, everyone was asked to vacate and the court was shut. And we understand the email threat was sent to the registrar by email, and police just a short while ago have, after thorough searches, have declared that particular mail to be a hoax call. In fact, the hearing has resumed now. Coincidentally, there were similar email threats sent to a few other institutions in capital Chennai as well. Police did take them seriously. Teams were sent for thorough searches, after which they too were declared hoax calls or hoax emails, and this of late has become a serious problem, particularly schools, colleges and government departments often receiving email threats or phone calls, but authorities are not taking them lightly, but they probe into every such email and calls to make sure the perpetrators are identified and booked. Political news from Tamil Nadu. The ruling DMK has denied that it is tweaking its government programs to reach out to first-time voters in Tamil Nadu ahead of the 2026 assembly elections, particularly in the context of actor Vijay making his electoral debut, who has a huge youth following, including young first-time voters and women. In fact, the Tamil Nadu government, in a major outreach, has announced a series of programs targeting college students, particularly the 1,000 rupees monthly assistance for those pursuing higher education after studying in government colleges, besides several forms of incentives and grants for sports personnel in colleges and universities across Tamil Nadu. In fact, yesterday, there was a mega show at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in capital Chennai, what the ruling DMK calls as celebration of Tamil Nadu's achievements through government programs. They highlighted various schemes, including the skill development program for university students, which opens for them new opportunities in terms of jobs and travel abroad. Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy was the chief guest, and Tamil Nadu's Industries Minister T.R.B. Raja denies that these are political measures but purely academic initiatives by the Tamil Nadu government to build on the state's strong educational foundation. This is what he had to say. Ruling DMK is focusing in terms of programs targeted towards students, first-time voters in that sense. Are you gearing up for countering the impact of Actor Vijay?
See, I don't know why you would want to call it a first-time voter. This is not about votes, Sam. It's all about creating a new generation, making sure that next gen is prosperous. And this is among the foundation, this foundational beliefs of DMK itself. It's what Anna and Periyar and Kalaignar have taught us, and it's about giving impetus. In fact, look at this place, amazing, huge campus. Ethraj, now we're standing in Ethraj's dream when in rest of India wouldn't even let his women come out of their homes. Ethraj created such a big asset here, and now today hundreds of thousands of women have come out of this, and the Dravidian dream has been fulfilled. So our Chief Minister today is celebrating Kalviyil Siranda Tamil Nadu, which means the prosperity that Tamil Nadu has got via college, via education itself. And our strongest belief, our foundation of the Dravidian model is education itself. Because of that education, today we have what Tamil Nadu is today, with being the talent capital of India.
Not for Vijay. Not for Vijay.
It's a talent capital of India. So talent capital of India results in investments coming in, and this investments coming in this has happened over a decade. So this is the story which is at least a century old, and not for any newcomer.
The mega program last night also had some stars, including Sivakarthikeyan and directors Vetrimaran and Miskin. This comes at a time Active Vijay is drawing huge crowds, largely young first-time voters, college students. Well, that's all from Tamil Nadu. It's over to my colleague Deepak Bopanna in Bengaluru for all the news from Karnataka. Deepak, it's over to you.
Thank you, Sam. And here in Bengaluru, of course, for the last several weeks, the civic mess, the infrastructural issues, the traffic jams, the potholes, this is what has been making news. Just a couple of days ago, the Chief Minister wrote a letter to Azim Premji requesting that, traffic should be allowed through the Wipro campus, which would help ease the congestion. It was a big no that came as a response from the Wipro chief, which has now become a topic of debate. Did the Chief Minister have to really ask this question in the first place? Because at the end of the day, the permissions to construct a private campus is given by the government. If they knew there was going to be, of course, a heavy influx of vehicles here, there should have been other, ways that they should have dealt with it. Or was this a last resort that the government really had to approach the, Wipro officials, and who are now saying that there are various reasons why they cannot actually allow this road to be used for, public vehicular movement. Now, we decided to hit the ground, go and see for ourselves what it is like to go around this stretch of the road, and also try and identify if cutting through the Wipro campus would actually ease the traffic here, or was it just another half-hearted measure? My colleague Ritu brings you this ground report.
This is the stretch just outside the Wipro company. Packed vehicles, honking and long queues. For thousands of commuters, this is a reality every morning and evening. Now just imagine if there was a shortcut for the public to utilize the Wipro campus to navigate through the campus roads in fact. But however, cut to reality, the Wipro founder has turned down this request of Karnataka CM Siddaramaiah. So well, the NDTV is on ground to show you how it really feels like to be stuck in this traffic outside this Wipro campus. So on my phone, it is right now 11:24 a.m. So we'll be trying to see how it really feels like to be stuck in this traffic right outside the Wipro campus to reach from gate number 1 to the last gate of Wipro. So we have reached the exit gate of the Wipro campus. So it took us almost more than 30 minutes to cover the 5 kilometers of this particular outside campus traffic and reach this particular location. But you see now what has been really said by the people is that if really one commutes from the within the campus, it would hardly take them 10 to 15 minutes to reach to the various roads, connecting areas as well. But however, you see now that the Wipro founder has also made it very clear that there is no choice at all, because they really fall under the special economic zone. They cannot allow the vehicular movements on the campus. So yes, public will have to continue to travel on these roads, the complete vehicle packed traffic itself, until and unless that the state government finds the permanent solution for this.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಪ್ರೋ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಗೇಟ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಒಂದು 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂದರೆ ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ಮುಕ್ಕಾಲು ಅವರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ತುಂಬ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಮೈನ್ ರೋಡ್ ಬರೋಕ್ಕೆ, ರಿಂಗ್ ರೋಡ್ ಬರೋಕ್ಕೆ. ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬೇಗ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. 1 ಅವರ್ ಹೋಗೋದಾದ್ರೆ 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಅಲೋ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಇಪ್ರೋದಲ್ಲಿ. ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಇದನ್ನು ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬರಬೇಕು, ಒಂದು 4 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ಬೇಕು. ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲಿಗೆ ಅಲೋ ಮಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ 1 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟ್ರಿಂದ ಎಂಟ್ರಿಯಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲಿಗೆ ಅಲೋ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಬೇರೆ. ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದು ಮೇಡಮ್. ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಡ್ರೈವರ್ಸಿಗೂ ತುಂಬ ಈಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಡ್ರೈವರ್ಸಿಗೆ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟ್ ಈ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋರು ಸ್ಟಾಫ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬೇಗ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ.
Now, that's as far as the locals and their reactions and, what actually is the reality on the ground is concerned. Meanwhile, we have some breaking updates coming in. Politics is playing out over, the Chief Minister's letter that was written to the Wipro chief, and the response that has come in. The BJP now is slamming the government and saying that they're out there with a begging bowl, trying to fix the problems that they have created, and they don't really have, full-time solutions. They're trying to bring in temporary fixes is the charge that's coming in.
in from the Bharatiya Janata Party here, which of course have been attacking the government on various counts. They have been of course raising a lot of red flags as to how the government has been dealing with the entire infra mess. It's been a political war of words really over the last several weeks. In the latest, of course, the Chief Minister, the Deputy Chief Minister have both countered the BJP and said these potholes, these infrastructural issues have been left behind by the BJP and the mess is being solved now by the Congress party. The Deputy Chief Minister also in fact did say that in a day there are about 1,000 potholes that are being filled by the officials at the moment. Just yesterday we even saw traffic policemen fill potholes. Now the question here is, how fast can this work be done, and more importantly, how reliable is the work that is now being done actually? Because will the potholes that are being filled resurface once again? Is there going to be longevity is the question. Now activist Rahul Ishwar joins us on the phone line. Rahul, how do you really look at urban issues like the city of Bengaluru is facing, and for the Chief Minister to write to a private company and say, well, give us access to a route that cuts across your campus so that it helps ease traffic on the roads? Do you think it was a viable option in the first place, and for the company to respond with a big no, how does it really fare?
Rahul Ishwar in Bangalore.
It seems like we've lost Rahul Ishwar there. Meanwhile, of course, as we continue to track all the developments that are happening here in Karnataka and especially Bengaluru, now there's some breaking news coming from Kerala, where my colleague Ashwin will bring you the latest.
Well, Kerala Governor Rajendra Vishwanath Arlekar has made a very strong statement against the left government. This was done during the Kesari program at the Navaratri function, which was held in Calicut yesterday, where he lashed out against the left government, stating that the left government is pretending to be IAF